Welcome to the Waiver Wire. Waiver Wire.
Waiver Wire.
Waiver Wire.
Waiver Wire.
Waiver.
What? Welcome to the Waiver Wire, where fantasy players become fantasy legends. Oh man, we got a good one today. My boy Luke is in the building. I've known Luke since elementary or sixth grade, Bondi, middle school, all the way back to middle school, all the way back to sixth grade. We are best of buddies. This is the guy. Everybody's got the friend that when you see each other, it's like nothing happened, and we just go right to slurping each other.
Yeah.
It's gonna get real gay. At some point, the third down is just it says butt sex. It says that me and him are just gonna plow each other on camera. So
We'll
get
post
ready,
that-
YouTube. Get
Post
ready.
that to a different site.
Yeah.
But
okay, true. All right, fine. I'll put it on YouTube. When it gets flagged, we'll throw it over to the other ones. But what's up, buddy? He lives in Austin, so he made the trip, and he's seeing fam, and then he was like, "Hey, we should do a pod." And I tell you, if we lived near each other, this is what life would be. We would just do this all the time.
each other all the time.
Yeah.
This podcast all the time.
We used to make, what's funny is that, so in high school, we had a video technology class. So instead of like just the announcements going over the intercom like normal, we had a class where you could go and basically like learn how to use cameras and editing equipment and kind of do like a news channel type thing. But we had a little group where we just did like funny videos. We had a boy band. We had all kinds of crazy things that we did. And the other day, two servers are arguing about math, and they're arguing about like, and they bring up PEMDAS, and so
Please excuse my dear. Oh, hold on. First of all, I'm taking off my shoes.
there you go, get comfy.
I love seeing your feet. And I feel like I have to join you.
I'm all comfy always.
Let's get comfy.
They're probably getting a lot of leg. I like to show a lot of leg, a lot of cock.
Haven't seen the cock yet.
Yeah, well, it's coming. It's coming. I've been naked around my friends more than I've been naked around most women that I've been with. So he's seen my penis many times.
Many times.
I was the naked friend. You couldn't stop me. Just randomly, my dick would just come flying out. So it's definitely happened. Oh, and we like to bang each other.
Oh, yeah.
What were we just talking about? Oh, PEMDAS. But anyways, I pulled up the PEMDAS video, and I was just like, I was just showing them, and they were like, "Bro, what is this? What the hell is this?" Because I've never shown them any of that. So then I just went on where I went down to all the stuff, and it's so funny to think that that's what we did in high school.
Is it still online?
Yeah. Yeah. It's all online. It's all online.
You can go watch one of those and come back.
DVV Mavvision is the channel's name. So if you go to DVV Mavvision, MAVISION, it's good times.
I feel like somebody just guessed my password, and now they're going to see a lot of my browsing history.
Yeah, it was definitely a trip down memory lane because I was watching some of that stuff, and I was like, I can't believe that that's what we did in high school. I can't believe that other people were like in class and we were in costumes just like walking down the hallway together filming History Jive.
Interrupting classes to do a science, like the science one.
Oh, yeah, we
interrupted them.
Yeah.
The entire hallway, we got them to come out and be in our video, and all the teachers were cool.
They let us do the eye wash.
Shower.
And like cover ourselves and cover the classroom in water just for the video. It's unreal. The educators in Texas, y'all did a great job.
And we also went to thrift stores and got our matching colorful outfits.
Hell yeah, 3 ninja outfits where we could all lay them out. We did actually. We had that little cabinet, remember, where we put them all in and they were all laid out just like 3 ninjas.
Yes,
that was awesome.
dude.
That was awesome. But yeah, we go way back. I'm so happy he's here. I was writing out the show last night and I was just going crazy because I was like, we can talk about this. My guy knows all things sports, so we're going to get into it. But I wanted to talk. So me and my wife have entered a new part of our marriage where we used to watch things together. You know, like I can't start watching something without her, but she is a butterfly. You can't hold this little hummingbird down. She just went to the park to go run. Like she doesn't really sit still and watch shows like that. So eventually I was like, look, I'm just gonna start watching because like I work a lot, but then whenever I'm at home, like I like to watch things. So I was like, I'm just gonna start watching things. And if you catch it while you're, in the background, if you see it in your peripherals, great. If not, and she was like, I've never wanted to watch anything. Like, what are you talking about? This sounds so good. This is perfect for me. So I was like, sweet. So I've actually been watching a lot of stuff. One of the other gayest things that I did in my life was I watched Welcome to Chippendales. Did you watch that on Hulu?
Not yet.
No, bro. It is. Well, first of all, it's a male strip. It's about the male strip club Chippendales that gets started. But I didn't realize the crazy backstory with the two guys that started it and a murder and all this other wild shit that goes on. And it was pretty good. It wasn't bad. It was on Hulu. I would say I half recommend Welcome to Chippendales. Definitely, if you're questioning your sexuality, you're gonna be like, whoa, a lot of man meat in there. I think I want to suck. I think
Chris
I want to suck.
Farley and Patrick Swayze in it.
I wish, but it is not that. I watched season 3 of The Boys finally. People have been telling me, oh, you gotta watch The Boys. You gotta season 1 of The Boys, fantastic. Season 2, and then season 3, I was like, because season 2 was so bad, I was like, I'm not gonna watch it. People forced me. People were like, no, it's good, I promise. And they lied. The Boys is not good. You won't talk me into it again. Fuck The Boys. What I want from, have you watched The Boys?
First season.
The first season's good.
It was good.
I want bad Superman. Like that's what I think we like about the show. We're like, oh, there's like a Superman who's like corrupt, and I want him to go like full evil. But they just never do it. They never let him off the reins. They never are like, fuck it, melt a city. And like even in this season, like they teased it a couple times where he was like, he got mad and he was like, I'm gonna fucking wipe New York off the face of the planet. And I was like, yes, do it. And he never did.
He doesn't ever.
No, it was lame. Nothing happens. Spoiler alert on The Boys. Nothing happens. Everybody's still alive. No one dies. No big moment happens. There's no climax. They just dick tease you for 8 episodes. Barry is a fantastic show. The season finale, the series finale of Barry came out on Sunday, and me and the lady have been watching that every Sunday. So Barry.
So my lady and I started watching it halfway through season 3. She kind of lost interest, but I love the show.
Yeah.
So I restarted season 3 actually 2 nights ago, and I was just running through it to try to catch up. I got about 5 episodes in, and then I passed out. I have a recommendation for you.
Okay.
Marvelous Miss Maisel.
Oh, you've told me about this.
I want to tell you again because it's damn near the perfect show, dude.
Yeah.
And I mean that in writing and acting, excuse me, and blocking.
Yeah.
Every scene. I'm going to show you a video later on of one of the shots, the one shot that they do brilliant one shots. They do like everybody. Tony Shalhoub murders it.
That's what I heard. Tony Shalhoub.
Michelle Branahan, or I forget her excuse me for not knowing.
Apparently, Kevin Pollak's pretty good in it.
Yes, dude. Every single person in that show is so good, and the writing
I'm gonna
good.
watch it, especially because my mom told me about this because she was like, "Listen, from your theater background, from your life in theater, you have to watch this show. You are gonna connect on it in many, many ways."
And sometimes when you watch shows, you think about people, and I thought about you like almost every episode because of how.
Okay.
And I don't want to talk it up so much, but it's top 5 for me.
I didn't start the timer. I didn't start the timer.
Oh,
Here
no.
we go. No. You have. This is not the first time you have told me about this show,
and
it
it's
won't
one of those.
be the
And I
last.
also haven't the series finale just happened like last
Okay.
week. And I don't want it to end, so I haven't watched it, the series finale, because I want to hold on to it not being over.
Well,
But,
okay.
it's so
okay.
good. Dude.
I will do it. I promise. Now that I'm let loose and I can watch whatever I want, I'll start it up. I will start
And
it
you
up.
get to see some boobs in the first episode, but that's it.
Okay. All right. But Barry, man. Well, and I will say this about your girl losing interest. And shut the fuck up. I will say, shut up. That it's not the same from season to season. Like each season is very different. They do, even in this one, it was like, what the fuck? In the last season, you're like, bro, what the hell? Where has this show gone? But I just think the supporting cast in Barry is really good. I like NoHo Hank. I really like Fugues. I really think Fugues is really good too. And the girl, actually, in the season 4, she has some really powerful scenes.
And Bill Hader's awesome.
Bill Hader's awesome. Who knew?
In season 3, he loses his mind so far. And he has a couple just scenes that are like, well, okay, Bill Hader, no, you had that in you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, if you told me just from afar what this show was, you were like, yeah, it's Bill Hader is like a like he is a murderer, a contract killer, but he comes back from Afghanistan. He's got PTSD, but he's also trying to get in like the acting world. You'd be like, what? That's Bill Hader? So it's funny. No, it's not really funny. I mean, there are funny moments, but it's not really him being funny. And
him and Alec Burke, I think, produced it, and I think he did a lot on The Office and some other good.
He's done a bunch.
Shows.
I know that name, for sure. It's 2 thumbs up. I thought the finale was really good too. It was kind of sad, but it was like, it is what it is. I don't think we really. I don't think they could have gone anywhere else. So big thumbs up for Barry. And I'm 5 episodes deep in The Bear. Woo!
Great show.
Great show. Holy shit, great show. I've had that one recommended to me a lot just because, I work in a restaurant, but it's not so much about it is about a restaurant, but I think the performances by...
It's the setting of it.
Yeah. And I mean, these people are going through a lot. Their brother, their friend just committed suicide, so all of them are clearly hurting.
And that's not a spoiler. That happens at the beginning.
Yeah. I think that's straight off. That's like the first thing that you learn is that he's taking over this thing. So there are a couple of movies. Me and my boy, we were always movie watchers. We were always like to analyze movies. I just brought up a couple of. I was like, man, what are some good movies that I've seen over the last? But Everything, Everywhere, All at Once. Have you watched that?
Yes, I have. A lot. I'd actually like to watch it again. What are you? So you liked it a lot?
If you want to look ahead here, I've made a top 10 all-time movie list, which I will say this is what I spent the most time last night until the wee hours of the morning doing, because it is so hard to compare movies. Just look at the top 3. How do you compare Forrest Gump to Fight Club to Inception? Those are my top 3. I don't know how is Inception anything like. It's not anything like Forrest Gump.
There's a lot of parameters. So, like Forrest Gump, we saw when we were kids.
Yeah.
And it was just kind of the movie I thought that you watched and you're like, oh, this is okay. Like, this is amazing. I won't really get it until later, but it was one of those movies that hit you quick. I feel like, in the parameter of movies now that I have a better feeling of my own self, like inside, I feel like how did a movie make you feel at the end? Because all this is about feeling. It makes you feel a certain way. Like for Inception, for me, it was I can't think for a moment. It was it's like you have to go home and kind of sleep on it, and you're like, oh my god, and then you watch it again and you realize that it reiterated everything that you initially thought.
Well, that's Nolan for you, isn't it? Because most Nolan movies leave you that way. Most Nolan movies, when you're done, you have to take a second to be like. Even Tenet. We were just talking about Tenet before we started the podcast. I mean, I thought the sound was bad. I thought some of the performances weren't my favorite, but I still, when it was done, I had to go, holy shit. He took us on a roller coaster there, and then he got me all the way to understand how he did it.
Yeah.
And then, but mostly the way that he shot Tenet is amazing.
Amazing. And another thing about Tenet is that one made me feel frustrated. And so I don't think I've ever really taken it in, everything about that movie. I need to watch it again with subtitles, I feel like, because then I think I'll be like, oh, all right, that makes a lot more sense, and I see what he was doing.
Yeah. But Everything Everywhere All at Once, I thought was one of the best movies that I've seen in the last 10 years. I was like, this is one of the best movies that's come out in a very long time. And how it makes you feel. I mean, you're so emotionally connected to that movie. Yes, it's like a quirky kind of action, sci-fi, bending kind of a movie, but you're connected to the parents and the daughter. And then the Academy Awards just backed up what I was saying when they gave, it won every fucking thing. I'm kind of surprised that Jamie Lee Curtis won and not the daughter. I kind of thought the daughter was going to win Best Supporting Actress.
I think Jamie Lee Curtis got the old tenure one. You know, it was
What's
like
her
she's
tenure?
she's been a prevalent actress in Hollywood,
Yeah.
and then she kind of fell off a little bit, lost some
True
time.
Lies. I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm
I
like,
realized I was straight.
that's true.
Maybe I'm not.
That's
but
true. That's true.
That was a great.
And then we found out that we were honey dick because her body never really looked like that. She bulimicked herself
was
into
pretty
that.
sexy,
She
though.
was. She did whatever she had to do so that she could look good for Arnold. And I respect that. So
Yeah.
does Arnold. I'm sure Arnold respects that
And I'm
a
sure
lot.
the typecast of the Halloween movies was hard to overcome
Yeah.
for a long time. And
She's been in stuff. Don't get me wrong. I just was like, if you go back and you watch that movie, the family, the mom, dad, and the daughter have such incredible performances in it, and I just thought that they would give it to the daughter. But yeah, I thought Everything Everywhere All at Once. It was just such a good idea. Such a clever way to do a movie like that. Like, if you
Agreed.
think of it, at the end of the day, they're just kind of talking about family and what family means and
Time.
and what matters in our lives, and they did it to like a Matrix style, almost, action thriller.
it was
And
it was kind of like it was definitely an Asian culture type movie with the anime, and it kind of geared towards the craziness
Yeah.
of that, which has its own place. But that was very unique. I feel like I
very
was watching. I feel like I was watching something fresh.
Yeah.
which is odd now. It's
Yeah.
very rare. I feel like nowadays.
That's got to be one of the reasons that I said it was one of my favorite movies in the last 10 years. Because I mean, what have you seen that's like that? I can't.
Mm-hmm.
You really can't compare it to anything else. You can't be like, yeah, it's like The Matrix meets like, some silly Kevin Smith comedy. Like I don't know what
A
you would
Wonderful
call it.
Life.
Yeah,
You can bring
At
in-
the same time, it also touches you emotionally and makes you cry at the end.
Mm-hmm.
So amazing. My viewers here know I don't stop talking about Everything Everywhere All at Once. It is one of my favorite movies, and I definitely think it is one of the best. It cracked my top 10, so it's pretty big.
Hold on, before you just say that and throw it away. This man has had a top 10 that really hasn't changed all that much. And by not changed, I said there's one new movie in here from
Yeah, it's true. If you look at it, there is one.
when we lived together
Yeah.
13 years ago.
Yeah, which is tough. But I feel like mostly because it's kind of from what you said, like it has to be new. Nowadays, I can't just watch a movie and be like, oh yeah, like I've seen even great Dunkirk was amazing. But
Yeah.
it's essentially an army, fighting. You see a fight in a historical time.
Yeah,
we've seen that.
Dunkirk is one of the best more movies I think ever. The shots
cinematography wise, it's got to be one of the best. Got to be one of the
again,
best.
but with Chris Nolan with the mask though, dude.
Yeah, and the
Tom
audio.
Hardy.
The audio in that movie's hard too.
It's very difficult.
You really can't understand a
But
lot
that
of what's
one
going
made
on.
me
But
feel for that historical and
what was
the guy from Bridge of Spies? Gosh, dang it, I can't remember his name.
Mark Rylance?
Yes, dude.
Yeah, he's incredible.
I love that guy. That
He's
guy's one of the
incredible.
most
Yeah.
underappreciated guys in Hollywood right now.
Yeah, he's so good.
He's so good.
He's
dude.
so good. What was the movie that he was in that fucking blew me away? Oh, I'll think of it. It'll
Recently,
come back to
huh?
me. Yeah,
Fairly recently.
Yeah, because his career's blown up.
Yeah.
I'd say over the last
Rightfully so.
5
That
years.
guy's
and-
amazing.
Yeah, he's been in everything. But yeah, he was in something, and his performance was just fucking incredible. to
Oh,
me.
I think I know what you're talking about.
Let's see. You didn't see Dune. And then I thought Banshees of Inisherin was good. I put it on here because we have a Martin McDonagh. We did a play long ago where we were both in Martin McDonagh play, and I love everything Martin McDonagh puts out. I'm like, oh shit, I'm gonna go watch that because I love him. And I thought this one was good. It wasn't. Was it In Bruges? No. Was it some of these other, I love Seven Psychopaths. I definitely love 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri. I think that's one of his best. So, but I thought this one was really good, and it was really, it's really dark. Like, if it reminded me of The Pillowman.
Yeah.
Where, like, he takes an idea that most of us would, like, get real squeamish about, and that's, like, what the whole movie's about. And, and I don't want to give it away what it is, but it's really good. It's really, really good.
And I think he did get a little. He
got nominated.
He did get nominated. He also got they were coming after him a little bit for his.
Oh, really?
His script and the stories that he tells.
Yeah.
But it's like, dude, y'all, if
You
you,
have no
don't know
idea.
about Pillowman,
Yeah.
if you have an hour and a half, 2 hours, go read the Pillowman as just a
for
script
sure,
and a play.
for sure.
It's phenomenal.
Incredible show. One of
phenomenal show.
One of my tops when I think of the shows that I've done. That I definitely
And
always
you've
remember
done
that
a lot.
Yeah, I always
So that's
always think about that.
It's one of those roles I can wish I freaking go back and do it again as an adult, right? To be honest. And
I would love for that same cast to come back together. All those people, Mike's older now. He's a dad, and I think just a pastor.
Oh, nice.
I don't know if he even actually does any acting anymore. But
we're just babies.
I know Nelson would kill it.
We
know Nelson Hagen would kill it because that dude was a fucking G.
Oh man, and there was a time where I learned the most I ever learned on stage was from him.
Yeah. Your scenes were all.
And there was
him.
one instance where I went off. We were getting close to performance time. We were getting really comfortable with our roles and with each other. And I tried to do something that I just felt in the moment in which we got pissed at each other. And we were both detectives to set it up, and we were interrogating Josh's brother's character in the show. And I pulled his tie to bring him in because I was pissed. And his reaction was correct, and which was, I'm the senior detective in this. You're like a little bitch coming on. Yeah. You're new. And he just manhandled me. And this guy was not big. And I'm 6'2", 6'3". I was a large kid back then. And he handled me. And it threw me off, but I stayed in the moment. But I learned the most out of that, which was just being in the moment and reacting and not thinking
Nelson
ahead.
Was awesome, man. Nelson was so awesome.
Shout out if he ever sees us. I love that guy.
If you're watching, Nelson, we love you. I don't know how you've gotten here. I don't know how you've ended up on this page, but I love you. But man, let's see. I started it late. I'd say we did about 15 minutes in movies. This is gonna be the longest podcast ever. Let's go.
First down.
NBA final. We got a
announcer from the 90s.
We are game 1 happened. I believe that was Thursday night, and then we got game 2 tonight. Denver at Miami. I haven't talked since I think the last time I talked, we were still in the conference finals. The Lakers did not get it done. My LeBron did not get it done. Denver is a solid team. And the role players, I mean, LeBron, listen, I've been saying all this whole time, he's 38. I don't really expect a lot anymore. I'm not like these people that's like, he's got to win every single year. I'm like, he's 38 years old. Like, what do we really expect of this guy? But for being 38 years old, you'll never see it again. You will never see somebody at his age balling the way that he balls. You'll never see somebody play with his kid. You'll never see somebody at 38 years old basically being the leader of his team. I mean, for reference, Chris Paul is 38 years old. And I think we all can admit that we have forgotten that he even plays, and we have let him go into the ether, and we're like, whatever. And like Steph is about to be 36, I believe, this year, and maybe we will see Steph play for another. I'd say he could play for another 4 more years and still be really, really good. But yeah, that was a bummer. Denver is a very good team, though. The moves that they made to get Aaron Gordon and Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, they are the clear favorites to win the finals, I would say.
Yeah, I think so. I think Jokic is, I don't even care to say his name correctly anymore. I'm not sure if that's it. Definitely the best second-round pick of all time. I think he's passed up Draymond as the dude.
I think you're right.
That guy is so big and so unathletically looking, but he's amazing. His hand-eye coordination is unbelievable. His ball handling skills are next to none. The guy can do anything. I know you don't hit it, but here's the thing, dude. I will tell you this.
I don't know.
I have come around on LeBron.
Oh, go.
So I used to think he was just a product of the Eastern Conference. Okay. And while I still believe that that's a part of some of his success, the guy is a killer.
Yeah.
I do think he's gotten a little bit of how difficult the West is now. I don't think it's as prevalent as it was back when he was just balling out in the East. But this Western Conference is tough. Yeah. And I think the Suns are going to be good next year too.
Yeah.
But the overall, I think the one thing that's coming up with the NBA that I've liked is there is that transition now. Yeah. LeBron's kind of transitioning his way out.
Yeah.
His son's coming up, but we're getting rid of guys like Melo and they're kind of aging out and getting injured. We're getting this new wave of young talent that somebody's going to need to step up and kind of take over the league, and I think Jokic has done that. The guys out of Boston has done that too. But you want to talk about the Rockets for a second, or you want to?
Yeah, let's talk about them. I think I like a lot of the moves, man. I like the young players that we have on this team. I like Ime Udoka. Dear God, do not bring back James Harden. Why?
Oh, okay.
Why?
I'll tell you why. Okay, there's a very nuanced discussion with this because number one, I am not for, and I want to make this clear, I'm not for signing him to a max 4-year deal.
But that's what he's going to want.
Maybe.
If he doesn't want all the money, I'll listen to your next argument.
But that's the thing. Like, no way do I want him for 4 years at max. I think that's going to stifle a lot of the progress that the Rockets have done the last 3 years. But if it's a 1-1 or a 2-1 deal, I gotta entertain it. The guy has never missed the playoffs, and I know that he has his faults.
He falls apart in the playoffs.
He led the league still in assists last year, and that's it. And if the Rockets don't have anything, it's a point guard.
Well, I agree. I agree that if he can come in and not be ball dominant James Harden, if he can be assist James Harden, if he can be team player the way he kind of was at the end of that 76ers run, that could really work with us.
Yeah.
I just don't trust the motherfucker.
I don't
trust him.
But I like if it's a 1-1, like a deal, team friendly deal, bring him on. And I think Ime Udoka is not Steven Silas. Steven Silas is just a pushover.
Yeah.
I felt bad for him last year. His dad died.
Yeah.
His team is just, he knows he's in. There was just a time when he just didn't have control of the roster at all. He was going through a lot. And I'm like, dude, just take some time away. No one's going to blame you for being like, look, I can't do this at the moment. And it's clear the team's not responding to me.
Yeah.
And these guys are young. If they're young and not responding, you have a problem.
We actually watch quite a bit of Rockets at the place I work. We have it on at least one screen all the time. So I watch quite a bit of Rockets basketball. And if you watch them play, they're just babies. That's what it is. They are actually very athletic and a very talented team. They can play defense at times when they want to, and then they somehow in the fourth quarter would find a way to squander away a lead or mess up some big play where they don't need to at the very end. And I think a lot of that stuff gets learned. I would rather because I do believe that I do believe James Harden is going to want that max contract. I would rather go and get a whole bunch of good, like if Jaylen Brown is available for maybe less money. And, well, I don't know if it would be less money, but he's a younger player that I think maybe could fit with this group. And if we can go get a couple of role players that can join this, and then if whoever this draft pick is that we're going to get at number Scoot. 4, oh, please be Scoot. Oh, please be Scoot. I'm hoping that they don't take him at number 3. I'm really, really hoping that he doesn't get taken number 3, but I would love me some Scoot Henderson. Love me some Scoot. I actually didn't want Wembanyama. I did not want that. You
didn't?
No. I'm scared of the 7'6". I'm scared of the knees. I'm scared of him not holding up. His body's not going to hold up. Usually when you're that big and tall, you don't make it.
That's true. But also, we think of Yao. I think
that's
when
what
you're talking about big, tall. But he was also 300 pounds.
Well, and I think maybe the opposite of that here is that this guy doesn't weigh enough.
Yeah, he's definitely
going to get manhandled by some of these guys.
Some
Jokic versus him. Jokic's going to eat him up.
Yeah.
He's going to eat him up. He's not. Joel Embiid's going to eat him up, and they don't even really play in the post like that anymore. The bigs don't play like that. But I'm just saying. Listen, I think he's going to the perfect place because the Spurs are. Popovich is going to.
Yeah, not sketchy at all with their French connection already with Tony Parker.
It's not weird at all that happened. Yeah, the whole way that they pick who the number 1 pick is for the NBA, the lottery, is such a joke.
It is, but they finally made it at least transparent with the draw. They made the drawing available. Yeah. No, they filmed how they got to the final 3 decisions or whatever with the balls, and then they actually have that available now. So now you're just not like, all right, I guess this happened.
Yeah. I just I think that the Rockets are in a very tough transition here. We are on the corner because Jalen Green is for real. He is really good. He is
22.
This close to being a fucking superstar. He just needs to be on kind of some winning teams that can kind of get him going.
They need leadership. Shingun is the one. Sengun. That guy is a little baby Jokic, and I'm not.
No, he is.
That's not hyperbole. He's so good.
He's so good.
And Silas would never let him eat, dude.
Yeah. And also, I think that if James Harden can come in and be what he was to Joel Embiid for Sengun, I'm more open to that but James Harden cannot come back to Houston and all of a sudden be like, it's my show again. It's my show again.
I don't know if Udoka would allow that.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
I don't know.
Actually, you're right, because we have a coach now that would shut that shit down and would be like, no, you're not going to do that. Yeah. So I think Houston is very close to being a much better team, a lot closer than people give us credit for. Obviously, we had a terrible year last year, but I think a couple of good pieces. I hear that Jaylen Brown is a real possibility.
Yeah, I'd welcome him with open arms.
Yeah, he's got to stop turning the ball over, but Ime Udoka also, when he did that in the finals and when he was the coach of the Celtics, Ime Udoka seemed like he was one of the ones that could get in Tatum and Brown's face and kind of say like, hey, fucking cut it out. If you don't turn the ball over, we win.
And I'm not messing with Ime Udoka. No, that guy's
large human being. Really nice too. I got to take care of him, and he's a really nice guy.
Did you hear why he got fired from Boston?
Yeah.
Okay. It's
well, we live in the woke, world.
I understand. Was it consensual?
It was.
Okay.
Sounded like it was.
If you're going to fire him and we'll pick him up. It's kind of like with Chris Beer with UT basketball, and we fire him for that.
It's why he didn't get canceled altogether. It's because there are owners out there like Tillman that are smart enough to realize, like, oh wait, so what he did was totally he cheated on his girl, and that's bad. But
yeah, don't do that.
But whatever. I mean, that has nothing to do with him as a man or a head coach, or like he didn't do anything wrong as far as like. I'm with you, and I love that we ended up with him. That's awesome. But the woke culture just
they wouldn't allow it. Boston was like, we're not going to mess with it, dude. We think we have somebody else. But then you don't. So
you don't. And also, it's easy to be like, oh, we have somebody else when you have a squad of young talent all around you, and Boston's going to be around for a while. But how about Miami, man? That's definitely who I'm rooting for. I'm rooting for Jimmy B, Tom Ball. I'm rooting for just this underdog story is so cool. And in game one, let me just say this. Miami seemed like they were tired. They had just gotten off of this game 7 with the Celtics. I mean, Jimmy Butler didn't have a good game. Max Strus was like 0 for 10, 0 points. Caleb Martin, who was the game 7 hero, he only had 3 points, and he was like 1 for like 9 or something like that. So I don't think that's going to stay that way. I would imagine those guys wake up and they play a little bit better basketball. The thing is, Jokic and Murray, they're going to give you what they give you. You know what they're going to give you. You have to play better defense on Michael Porter Jr. and Aaron Gordon and Kentavious Caldwell-Pope and Bruce Brown. You got to slow those guys down. If you can slow them down, I think Miami has a shot. This is a big game tonight. I think if Miami can keep this competitive and at least show that they're in this fight, maybe they lose this game, but let's say it's like on a last-second shot, that's a big deal because then that gives them confidence going back to Miami. But
I mean, an AC get into the finals. It's like, dude, no one is expecting you, which is a good thing and it can be a bad thing as well. Yeah. Obviously, they're overmatched, but dude,
And I mean, my head says yes, they're going to get swept. My head says Denver 4-0. My heart is rooting for the underdog story. It's rooting for Jimmy Butler, and bro, Jimmy Butler's a dog.
Oh, let's talk about Jimmy Butler for a second. So in 2018,
dog.
The Rockets had a deal in place for Jimmy Butler in 2018 for 4 first-round draft picks. And apparently that wasn't enough.
Damn it!
Imagine that.
Imagine that.
Because Jimmy Butler didn't start off this heralded guy. He started off coming off the bench and getting like 6 minutes in Chicago, and then just was like, "I'm a dog."
I'm a dog, and I don't give a fuck. I'm not scared of He's not scared of nothing.
He's hilarious, dude. He's got a great attitude. He's like, I like the guy.
I love him. I think for me in the East, like I get it. Next year you're still gonna have the Bucks. You're still gonna have the Joel Embiid will have a good 76ers team, and you've got Boston, and those should be the top. But if we're getting into the playoffs again, and Jimmy Butler's hanging around with a bunch of strong, scrappy Miami players, I'm taking Miami. How can you not?
Yeah,
they've got more grit. then all of the Celtics, they just outgritted the Celtics. The Celtics had a chance. They were in their house for Game 7. There is no reason they should have lost that game. I get it. Tatum twisted his ankle. He really didn't play well after that. But they had every opportunity to get back in that game, and they just couldn't. Miami with a bunch of undrafted players. I mean, Eric Spoelstra has now put himself in the conversation. Is he the best coach in the league? He might be the best coach in the league. He's definitely in the top 5 because he took an 8 seed that needed a play-in game that they lost the first one. They almost lost to Chicago. They were losing in the last 3 minutes of that Chicago game, and then they came back. So
sometimes it's just but how about everyone just passing around James Vogel now?
Yeah.
Have you just noticed
Frank Vogel, yeah.
My buddy's name is James Vogel. JC.
It is weird. I don't know why they believe that guy's a good coach, because I think that he got lucky with LeBron in a perfect storm of the bubble, and just they ended up winning because was it because of him? Was Frank Vogel the reason that they won that championship? I don't think so. And yeah, he has gotten passed around a lot. But coaching in the NBA is funny because, like, Monty Williams is probably a really good coach.
He got paid.
But you lose and you go, oh, well, I can't fire Kevin Durant, Chris Paul, and DeAndre. I can't just let those guys go. There's ways around it, but I can't just like blame it on them. I got to blame it on somebody. So we saw a lot of coach, Nick Nurse, Budenhauser. We saw a lot of really good coaches that got axed. So it's a weird thing being an NBA coach.
He just got paid by Detroit.
Paid
like $90 million, something
to the point where Monty Williams getting paid like that is going to cause other people like Eric Spoelstra and Steve Kerr to be like, hey, did you see what bitch-ass Detroit Pistons gave Monty Williams? Like, I wouldn't mind some of that. So
here's what we're paying you to come live in Detroit.
Yeah, and suck. Because while I think the Rockets are on the verge of turning the corner, the Detroit Pistons are not. I like Cade Cunningham, but the rest of that team is really bad. They do not have a Sengun. They don't have a Kevin Porter Jr., who's a good role player.
For sure. I like the Rockets did not wait to hire Udoka. They knew that some of these teams are going to lose, like the Bucks, that were going to be like, we're also potentially be searching for new head coaches. And then Rafael Stone was like, no, we're going to hire Ime Udoka now and not fuck with it. Can I cuss? Let's cuss.
Fuck yeah, we can. Fuck the algorithm. I tell the algorithm all the time.
I think it's only if you cuss within like the first 2 minutes.
Yeah, and I fail most of the time at that.
That's all right.
I usually straight off the jump say "fuck her in the pussy" or something like that, just to get it right and ready. But yeah, man, I actually am big on. This is me being a LeBron fan, but I am really hoping that this year we stay somewhere in the middle of the pack. I don't see us making... I mean, it depends on what we get. If we do get a big player, I think we could make a big jump. But if we don't, and it's the same young kids, I'd like for us to obviously do better. I'd like for us to come close to that middle of the pack. But I would love for us to end up with Bronny James Jr. because then that means that we get LeBron. And imagine LeBron joining this young group of kids.
Yeah, dude.
We would immediately be a championship contender.
2018 was when Braun was leaving Cleveland again and kind of figuring out what he wants to do, and it was all the LA, and they were like, why aren't you wanting to come?
Well, he visited. He did come
in Houston, but it was like there was no realistic. I felt like, but they had the squad. That squad was great. I mean, Harden was the only All-Star, which is even more of a mind fuck about everything that he accomplished in Houston, being the only All-Star on all those squads. Yeah, like doing what he did, getting to the Western Conference.
They were the 1 seed a lot of the time.
And they made and the 8 seed was like their worst year with the Dwight Howard year where they went 500. Still made the playoffs. Lost to Golden State, but dude, the guys never missed the playoffs. You have guys like Luka Doncic they're great in their own. And in their own right, they're still missing the playoffs.
I'm backing off the Luka.
He's still young as hell, though.
He is young, and I see the talent. He's obviously very talented, but he's got kind of a crybaby attitude that makes me feel like, are you ever going to get over this? Like, is there ever going to? Because a lot of the young players are crybabies. A lot of them are like Jokic is a crybaby. Joel Embiid cries a lot. But now you see Jokic just kind of going, okay, I've got a team around me. I can whine about the calls all I want, but I got to go out there and I got to make the plays. It seems like Luka, when they get down, when they just can't seem to quite get it done, he kind of gives up. And I don't know.
I also feel like he's about to blow out both ACLs at any moment.
Yeah, he doesn't. He
walks,
doesn't move well.
Runs. He's a big guy, 6'7" or 8", and probably 230 or 240.
Yeah.
He's a thick dude, but it's just like, dude, your knees. You run like that now.
Jokic
as like
and
23?
Luka bother me, and I think it's the reason why it says
Jokic has an excuse.
Jokic, well, he does. He's much bigger, but they move, and you go, "Oh, this guy's not athletic at all." Like I see Jokic and Luka move, and I'm like, "Oh, how are these guys NBA basketball players?" I don't understand. But it's almost like their slow delivery of stuff is what throws people off. And I'm wondering if at some point maybe the league catches up with it. Obviously, it hasn't happened yet. Jokic has been doing this for a while, but I don't know. I think it's what makes me. I want violent, angry dunking, and that's not exactly what they give me. But the league's a 3-point shooting league now, and I have to just accept it. That's all that anybody wants to do. I will say that is one of the things I hope that Ime Udoka changes about the Rockets, because I think that we have a lot of really good athletes that if we can talk Jabari Smith and Jalen Green to kind of cutting to the basket a little bit more. Jabari Smith has taken way too many threes.
That's way too many threes. He shot well in college, though. He shot over 40% from three. So it was like, all right, we'll get this 6'11" guy with the 7'5" wingspan who can shoot come in here. I'm not going to judge. It was like kind of compare it to like Jacksonville's years with Urban Meyer with like last year.
Yeah,
like because Silas was kind of a lame duck head coach. They were young. They were at the kind of the end of their rebuild. Is not supposed to be awesome.
I don't know if
so I'll give him. I
don't know if Steven Silas was a wild man the way that that Urban Meyer was. I don't think he's hanging.
Oh no, he definitely did kick punters and things like that. But I hope not. Actually, that would have made Silas a little cooler.
Yeah, it would have made him cooler. Actually, it would have
Silas
made him cooler.
was just the most lackadaisical.
I felt bad. I felt bad for him though.
I did too, man. I was like, dude, just give up now. No one's gonna go out with a bit of grace. Take care of yourself.
Yeah.
He was like crying in press conferences and things like, dude.
And we're also like, we were clearly going for Zimbabwe. Especially especially at one point we were like, it seemed like the Spurs and all of us that was the plan. It was like, let's just lose.
And they still only had a 17% chance.
Well, it'll just give us a bigger chance to try to get him. But I think we basketballed pretty hard.
That's a whole episode itself.
Yeah, let's go game 2 tonight. I'm hoping for a better outing from Miami. I'm hoping for Jimmy B to show up. Let's go Jimmy Buckets, man. Let's go Butler.
Tone ball.
8 seed beating a 1 seed. An 8 seed winning the championship would be, I think, you'd have to go down as one of the biggest accomplishments.
The Rockets 95 being a 6 seed or a 5 seed.
Well, the Rockets doing what they did in 95 was amazing. The comebacks that they had in 95. You'll see on my all-time list that I put Hakeem very high because I do believe if you go back and you
so.
Yeah. Oh, moving on.
Second down.
It's the pride of Houston. The pride of Houston. The Houston Astros. The Texans and the Rockets. We struggle and we fight and we hope and we pray, but I know what the Houston Astros are. They're champions and they will be just fine. I keep saying it. We're gonna win that fucking division. Don't you worry. We're gonna win our fucking division. I will say, and I put it on there. The Rangers
scoring a shit ton of runs. Dude.
They're a problem. I
mean, unbelievable how many. Like I don't know. They can't keep it up. I don't think, and I don't expect them to, and I don't even think they expect it to. But right now. I think they've outscored Houston by over 100 runs this year.
But we've allowed, our pitching has actually allowed the least amount of the entire league. We are best in the league of runs scored. And if I told you that based on how our pitching has kind of gone, you'd be like, no way. I mean, I think our pitching has kind of been up and down, but the fact that we're the best is incredible.
Yeah, especially with McCullers being out, which I guess we can talk about in just a minute.
Got it.
You do have it. Nice. And then Urquidy kind of going down.
Yeah. Luis Garcia going out for the year is bad.
Yeah.
That was a bummer.
We still got guys coming. Christian Javier, Framber, obviously. Hunter Brown, which all three of those guys have all-star years so far this year. Our bullpen is still great, which it just.
And the ones that have struggled, what I would say is that this is a marathon. Like some of the guys like Montero that have struggled, it's like, man, like Abreu's kind of struggled too. Give it time. Give it time. I don't want us to catch fire in right now. Mm-hmm. This is not when we're supposed to be at our best. We're supposed to be at our best when we get in the playoffs and we get into these deep games.
I do like the Rangers being relevant right now because the past, I don't know, 2 or 3 years, the end of the season is just a let's get through this. Yeah. So you're not playing real meaningful games.
This is going to challenge us.
And playing meaningful games, I hope if the Rangers keep it up, I think is really valuable for some of these young pitchers that we got now.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Get some of that pressure, get that going in to the playoffs, dude.
Yeah.
Get Altuve back. Although before this year, I will say that with the World Baseball Classic, which is what it is, people love it around the world, I suppose. I don't really care for it, but I understand why people like it. You got the World Series playing in November, and then 2.5 months later, you're pitching more in the World Baseball Classic. You're playing more.
Yeah.
I was like, it wouldn't surprise me at all if the Astros, because they played the most games of any team in the MLB in the last 6 years, by far the most games. That's going to catch up to you at some point. And to me, it's like, all right, they won last year. You got the World Baseball Classic. I wouldn't be surprised if this is just one of those injury toss-up riddled years where it's.
But I mean, like, dude, if you'd have told me that Mauricio Dubon was going to bat over 300 and be this fucking killer, because he kind of drove me crazy at the end of last year. I didn't like him being out there. I was like, man, this guy can't hit, and he's done great. If you'd have told me that this Jolks kid is going to show up and make me like fucking love him,
great swing.
Yeah, I mean, Chaz McCormick has not slowed down from his run last year.
Chomping Chaz.
I love this team, and I hate Jose Abreu. I really do. I have it on here where I think we should play Dubon at first base just because his bat is doing so great. He's also kind of a jack of all trades, you know. Like I feel
he's
like
a Marwin type.
You could throw him at first base and he'll be fine. Maybe Marlins will suck real bad and Yuli will get bought out. That would be fantastic.
Or just trade something, a little piece.
I'd love that. I'd love some Yuli back. But Jose Abreu has been the only thing that kind of bothers me. He just doesn't bat for power anymore. And with our lineup, with where he's at in our lineup, I mean, even though Yuli wasn't necessary, I mean, he wasn't a
he didn't turn on until the playoffs last year.
But that's where Yuli always shows up. Always in the biggest moments, Yuli would come through with these big hits, and I just love him so much. And I just, I didn't want him to get. I did not want us to lose Yuli. I was like,
I didn't feel good about that, letting him walk.
Yeah,
but I will say for Jose Abreu, the last 10 games as of today, he's been hitting the ball real hard. He finally has a home run. He's been notoriously bad in April and May throughout his entire career, and then kind of turns it around come June. He gets more antiquated, and he is getting old. Now, also, I will say about the Abreu, that was the signing when they didn't have a GM, and Jeff Bagwell was kind of in there in the front office in Crane's ear.
Oh, wow.
And that was kind of a signing where you're just like, that signing was like, all right, I don't hate it. I don't like that we let Yuli walk. Didn't understand letting Yuli walk, but okay, let's give Abreu a shot. And then giving Montero that contract that they did when he was the weak link in the bullpen last year, and all of a sudden we're signing Montero for 3 years, $33 million, and you're like, hold up a second. Where is this confidence coming from? And of course, he started off with the rookie start this year, getting better, but we'll see how long that lasts. But that was in that dead area.
I think it was to keep them together. I think it was that the bullpen did so well together in the playoffs. They arguably could have. I was arguing they very well could have been the World Series MVP. You could have just given it to the whole bullpen.
Absolutely dominated.
They dominated every time one of them came out there. You had no fear. I mean, in years past, where the bullpen has maybe given up stuff. Now, when those guys came out there, I was like, we're good. Here comes Abreu. Y'all get ready to sit down 1, 2, 3.
It was like in Game 6 of the World Series last year, Jordan hits that bomb, and that you're like, the game's over. Because it's 3-1. It's the bottom of the 6th. We got 3 more innings. We got Abreu, Neris, Bryn Presley.
I was at work with working a party that they could have cared less about the World Series, and I was like in a private event, like in a room, and so I wasn't watching the game. But when he hit that home run, oh my God! Like, our restaurant is a nice restaurant. It should not be a club where everyone went. It was a club. It was amazing. It was amazing. That home run was because I mean he had struggled a little bit. It wasn't he had done better obviously than the year before than the awful World Series that he had against the Braves. But I think Lance McCullers coming back is big because that relieves some pressure off of these guys like France and Balak that, let's just be honest, they're not ready for this. We are we are the world champions. We are, you know what the Jose Abreu trade showed me is that we are a superpower. We're no longer just this, oh, yeah, we've done really good at building up. You know, we have this core guys that we've raised from the beginning of Altuve and Bregman, and now Pena's kind of taking the spot, and Yordan Alvarez. We have all these guys that we've created that they're all homegrown. This was like, okay, we are going to stay relevant. We're going to be with the Dodgers and the Yankees and all the other superpowers that are in the team. This dynasty is here to stay.
Yeah, it was like we're undeniable now.
Yeah,
and
you cannot deny us.
You can't, and it's a dynasty.
It's a dynasty.
As well as, whatever you want to categorize it by.
My thing always with the cheating, and I don't know if we've ever got to actually talk about this, but I always said, and I mean, you see it kind of with Carlos Correa now. Carlos Correa, ever since homeboy got caught, the numbers have gone down. I've always said, if Jose Altuve and Alex Bregman and all these guys that were on that team, if they can't make contact with the ball anymore, if they're batting 112 and they can't they don't even seem like baseball players anymore, okay, I'll give it to you. We were cheaters, we lost, blah, 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 blah. But for the fact that we go right back to the ALCS, we go right back to the World Series, and we lose to the Braves, but then we win again. We are clearly a dynasty. These guys are fucking ball players. Fucking Bregman with that grand slam yesterday. Yeah. Oh, you motherfucking beautiful little man. But yeah, they can all kick rocks with that. Also, why is this cheating stuff with the Yankees? We got the Yankees pitcher that gets suspended 10 games because he's got too much rosin. We've got Aaron Judge looking over into the dugout, smashing a home run. But they're reading a sign. That's a tip sign. It's different. It's different than from what you did.
The entire cheating scandal is hilarious. Now that we look back on it, but now everyone has kind of come forward and been like, every team that was in the playoffs, the Dodgers, they were all, every playoff
Yankees
team in 2017 and prior to that, because Beltran came over from the Yankees and said, y'all are behind the times.
Yeah.
Hello. So now all these teams have had people come out against us. Houston was just a scapegoat because they're not Boston, they're not LA, they're not the Yankees. So who's a little scapegoat that they can say, all right, we can make an example out of these guys because they're not a major market team. Although they're a large market, they're not the perennial MLB face of the MLB. We'll put it all, and we're the only guys that fucking Mike fires. He's the only one that we had.
Let me catch you on the street, Mike Fires. Let me catch you on the fucking street, Mike Fires. I'll fuck you up. So if I ever see Mike Fires in person, I'm fighting you, and I might lose, but I'm gonna get a couple of licks in. And if you're in Houston, I think I might get help. I think people might go, "Is that Mike Fires?"
And he also grooms underage women.
Okay, fuck you fucking predator.
So that whole cheating scandal, dude, is like. Okay, and also you look at like when people drag on Altuve is what hurts me the most. The guy didn't participate. The guy still hit 348 on the road that year. It's like you can know. It's like how Correa said, know your facts or you got to shut the fuck up. Well, and that's what he was saying. He's like, you all were doing it. You're knowing it. Now we come to find out the Yankees cheated last year. They had juice balls only for Aaron Judge last year. That has come out to be a report by The Athletic.
I didn't know that.
And I think those juice balls were also in the World Series. That's why Yordan destroyed that baseball. But they, who also had those juice baseballs? The Yankees, every other team.
Every other team.
While I look back, they're exonerated now. They won. They had 6 straight ALCSs. They won last year.
Absolutely.
4 World Series appearances. It was just such a breath of fresh air. Like,
and we're not slowing down. I think you're right. This might be a little injury year. This might be something where we struggle to be as dominant as maybe we were last year. But people don't want to see us in the playoffs.
No, that's
They
why
do
it's like
not want to play us in the playoffs.
now winning the division would be awesome and all that, but just get in. I don't care.
Oh, we get in. We're going.
Just
we're
get
going.
in and they'll take care of business.
Yeah.
There's nothing that they've ever done in the last 6 years that tells me they won't take care of business once they get there.
How amazing of a man is Jeremy Pena? You look at him and you're like, God damn, bro. You're fucking good looking.
Absolute
you
dog.
Smash at baseball.
Humongous
I fucking
biceps.
Love you, bro. How did we go from Carlos Correa to that? We have got to be the best of all time at not skipping a beat on losing one of what would be considered maybe, face of the franchise, or at least he was one of face of the franchises. And we went, that's fine. You can go. It's totally fine. We're not worried because we have this dude waiting in the wings.
Well, that's also the thing is every single year for the past, 4 years, it's been the farm. They've always ranked farm systems, and Astros are always in the the bottom 5 or 6, and you're like, okay, I don't know, like they might not have the top.
They disrespect us.
Oh, dude, and they have somebody come along, and it's just it's a Jeremy Pena.
Yeah,
Kyle
Tucker, fucking
Chaz
McCormick,
making the catch,
Corey Julks. I mean,
the pitching, Abreu, Christian Javier, all these guys that just come in and just step in and dominate.
Yeah,
and you're like, I guess their farm system sucks.
Yeah.
I don't understand that at all.
No,
I think it's just a bias against it.
But do we make a big trade? Do we trade for an ace?
It depends on who comes back and who doesn't. I feel like if Lance McCullers, which they pulled him back off the mound last week because he's feeling some discomfort, which the Astros will never share what the injuries actually are. So he's taking a step back. I don't know that he is the most overpaid player in all of professional sports. I love him, but we got to start talking about that contract.
Yeah, and
6 years.
I don't know if I love him. I don't know if I trust him. When he goes out there, I feel nervous.
He's just never available in the first half of seasons.
Yeah,
and as long as you're back and healthy by the playoffs, just be glad that your team's good enough to where you can just show up and win World Series.
I was hoping that the Brewers would struggle more so that Corbin Burns would become available, because I think that's a perfect, if we can just package together some prospects and not lose anything from our team right now, I'm willing to give you Jake Myers, David Hensley. You can't have Corey Julks, and you can't have anybody else. But I'll give you some of those other outfielders that we have, and I'll give you whatever prospects that you want. When are we going to ever see Forrest Whitley? I don't know, but I think Corbin Burns would be a great person to pick up. But now the Brewers are, battling the Pirates for that division. It seems unlikely that they would get rid of him, although they do know that he's going to walk. So he's not going to re-sign with them. He has stated that he doesn't want to re-sign with them, so that would be a big one. He's going to be somebody that goes up there on the market. I think that's all that we really honestly need. That's the only trade I can imagine as a pitcher, as another pitcher just to add to the mix.
Like JP France, he pitched today, 7 innings, 1 run as of today. Dude, that guy has come on and pitched well too.
I don't like Balak.
He pitched well finally earlier this week.
Yeah,
finally.
but I like France. I think France could be a good 5 if
long reliever spot starter.
Maybe a long reliever spot if we get to that point. Because I don't believe in Lance McCullers. I think eventually our rotation is Fromber, Javier, Jose Urquidy, Hunter Brown, and then maybe France or somebody else. But that's what I'm saying. Imagine you add Corbin Burns to that mix.
That'd be hard to stop. For sure.
It would take me back to 2017 where we brought in Verlander, and it was like, y'all are fucked now because we already had a good line, we already had a good rotation, we already had good. I saw a guy today with a Dallas Keuchel jersey on. Shout out to that
poor guy.
Yeah, poor guy.
He's not in the league anymore.
You should have never left, Mr. Keuchel. You should have never.
He was
left.
the one arguably responsible for Verlander because he spoke up and was like, "Yo, it's the day of the trade deadline," and he was like, we need to do something if we're going to try to reach that next step." He was, Cy Young winner.
Yeah,
love
the guy.
Keuchel a lot. Ring with him.
I like Keuchel a lot. Yeah,
love him. But I feel like he is, just as responsible because then Crane went out and traded for Verlander with 12 seconds left on that deadline, and I think Keuchel was the one that was like, we need to do something, and I went. I
love Verlander too. I'll never have ill feelings to Verlander. It's funny too that we lost him, and I didn't bat an eye. I wasn't like, oh my God, what will we do now? It was like, well, first of all, when you get in the World Series, your butthole puckers something awful, Mr. Verlander. Every time you go out there for a World Series start, it does not go well. So you finally got the monkey off your back in that Game 6. I don't know if it's so much you got the monkey off your back or Yordan Alvarez hit a Game 6, Game 5.
I think it was 5.
Game 5, yeah. I don't. Either way. Houston Astros, we are in a good spot. I put my potential playoff lineup that I would like to see, which is Altuve, Pena, Bregman, Yordan, Kyle Tucker, Chaz, either Michael Brantley or Corey Julks, kind of swapping out that outfielder DH. We can DH Alvarez. I don't understand why we don't. I mean, I know Yordan has said, I want to play in the outfield. Mm-hmm. So I guess we're doing that to give our guy whatever he wants, but I would just try to talk him into, look, man, just fucking smash. I just want you to smash.
Yeah, that was really the big knock on him coming up, was his defense. His glove was just not where it needed to be to where he can justify. That's kind of why the Dodgers gave us for Josh Fields, a relief pitcher, the biggest steal of the century.
Yeah, right? Holy shit.
I will say Alvarez has now a cannon of an arm, and that's not like he has thrown out. He got a lot of assists out there. He doesn't play. He probably plays half the games, but I'd say if he wants to play left field, you're paying him a lot of money. You're paying $15 million a year, which is a steal also.
We have good, like Jake Myers, Corey Julks, Chaz, Kyle Tucker. These guys are good defensive outfielders, and it seems like we're like ignoring the fact that we could roll 3 good defensive outfielders out there all the time, but we just go, yeah, but Yordan said he wants to play.
Yeah.
So
that is the benefit of having that short porch and the Crawford boxes.
Yeah,
is
true.
You don't have to run around. If
No,
you
he
get
doesn't.
down to that corner, somebody, hopefully Myers or McCormick will be there to back you up.
Yeah.
I think if Brantley comes back, that would be absolutely huge.
Yeah, if he comes back and he hits well, we are off to the races.
I think you would probably end up moving Alvarez to 3, Bregman at 4, and then kind of switching off the left and right hitters. So Brantley would probably be 6 or 5. And
how ridiculous is our lineup, though? Like,
that's
honestly,
a great lineup.
You could move any of those. You could tell me any. You could move anything around there where you can move stuff around, and I would go, yeah, that's fair.
And I still leave it open for Abreu to bring it back around. I'd let him really work out his kinks in the 6 or 7 hole and stop trying to hit him 5th. It doesn't make sense. Let him put him down in the lineup and
maybe this is me. Maybe this is me trying to motivate him. You know, I know you're watching Jose Abreu, and you don't want to get your spot taken by Dubon. And I guess this is also based on how well Dubon has played. That's why I kind of made this little where I want him to play first. If he continues to hit this way, Dusty's going to have a hard time, because how do you not play him? You can't not play him, and he's batting .320. He's just hitting too well. He gets on base. He walks. It's wild how good he is. This year. So I think Dubon has caused a very good problem to have. It's good that we have all these. I mean, you feel for David Hensley is starting in most major league teams.
Yeah,
but he just
there's no room for Hensley here.
No,
I don't even think he's batting 200.
For that matter, especially if Chaz plays this way. I like Jake Myers defensively. He's probably one of the best outfielders maybe in the league, but he's just his bat. This lineup is not. You can't. That's why Jose Abreu's in trouble. You can't hit like that. Not in this lineup. That's not what we do. We get on base. We score runs. We score lots of runs. So, yeah.
Plus, with that catch that Chaz McCormick had in the World Series last year, it's like, dude, that guy saved it. Saved that game. And maybe saved the series.
Save the series. I agree.
So I don't know. I do like McCormick.
God, what a catch.
We do have Gilbert coming up. That was a first-round draft pick last year that is lighting it up at every level he is in right now.
Okay.
That guy is a left-handed hitter, plays center field, is one of the best prospects in baseball coming up. So we'll just keep
doing it.
We'll keep ranked 28th. And
I want us to pay Kyle Tucker, though. I do.
Yeah,
just pay him. I don't care about Jim Green's money.
He guaranteed 820 OPS every single year.
Yeah.
Gold Glove last year. His glove's kind of been weird this year. I don't know what's going on, but
yeah, he has.
He's performing as the 30-100 guy, and bring him, sign him up, man.
Sign him. Who cares? You want to keep this together? You want this dynasty to say, listen, the other moves, I mean, don't get me wrong. Can you imagine George Springer on this team? I mean, if George Springer is still on this team, we are hands down favorites. We probably are number one in the whole. I mean, it would just have made us so much more dynamic. But I love Chas McCormick, and I think that if you're saying we have another guy in the wings just waiting to come up into the outfield, that's amazing. But losing Kyle Tucker would be weird because for his bat and what he means to the team as far as his bat, I think not having him in the lineup, you can't tell me that Chas McCormick and Corey Julks are the same bat as Kyle Tucker.
The only reason I'd be okay with letting Tucker walk is if you're planning on signing somebody like Shohei Ohtani.
Oh my God.
And then you can talk about.
We were talking about that at work the other day where I don't know what the guy cares about. I don't know what he values as far as where he wants to go. I don't know if it's sometimes they say dumb shit like, I want to live in the West Coast. It makes no sense to me why you would base your career based on I want to live in California. The fucking don't get me started. That doesn't make any sense. Mm-hmm. But if he values winning, if he's like, no, I want to win, you come here, we win for the next 5 years straight.
Yeah, I don't think there's any question.
We dominate for the next 5 years straight.
He already had the opportunity to go to the Yankees and Boston and the Dodgers, and he legit came out and said, I don't want to go to those teams. Give me a team. I don't care if they're big market. And he's going to get $600 million. Yeah. It's not. But you think about the Asian influence that he would have, kind of like what Yao Ming had.
That's a great point.
That kind of pays for itself in terms of an investment. Point. When Yao came here, there were more people watching regular season basketball games than watch the Super Bowl. Just the global impact that he had across his homeland, China.
There are Asians that go to Rockets games to this day, and they're like, "Where is Yao? Why is Yao not play yet? We come here for him
all at once."
We came here with bus of people. We all have Yao Ming jersey on. Go Yao! You have Jamie Lin still, but yeah, I think you're right, and I will say this about Shohei. I'm like, I'm not hitting the gas. I'm not hitting the brakes. I'm just like, I'm idling if I'm in a car with him because I don't know what he's gonna do, so I have to. Hey, look out! But you know, he is good at both. He is very good at both.
Elite.
Is he?
He's got 100-mile-an-hour sinker. Let me tell you something.
I think his pitching is what I would say is going to fall off before his hitting. I think his hitting. Naturally, he could hit for longer. So, at what point does this become detrimental that he's doing both? Does it ever?
I don't know. I think if he's DHing, right? So it's not like he's out in the field, which I think is a big plus for him.
That's true.
I don't know. I think everything that he's done has never been done before. Yeah. I mean, since you can say Babe Ruth, but that was before desegregation, like so he just played against a bunch of white people. But dude, the guy he's an elite pitcher in my opinion. He's only lost 2 games this year, and both have been to Houston. Yeah. So maybe he's like, dude, I can't beat these guys at all. Yeah. So it just seems like the investment is there.
Oh, it would be amazing.
If you're Crane, you're not afraid to spend money. You've proven that. You're not going to be the Dodgers. You're not going to be Boston. You're not going to be LA. But if you put this down, you're like, all right, at least I'll get a return on my investment with the popularity that the Astros would gain across the world.
That's true. We would become talked about more on ESPN, and we would get much more. You're right.
I think it would just pay off. I mean, and plus you're going to keep winning, so that's revenue for you. It's like if he's a genius businessman, you got to look at it as like if I invest $600 million in this guy,
you're going to have to give away the farm though.
I don't think if he's a free agent, you don't. He's just going to be able to sign.
There's no way the Angels can let him become a free agent.
I think he's going to be a free agent, if not next year.
Next year. Next year is when it would happen. So I think we're in a very. I mean, listen, us beating them these last 2 games. Every time the Angels lose a game, they look up and they go, "Oh fuck, we're that much closer to losing Shohei," because if they don't make the playoffs, if they're not a good team this year, well, first of all, I don't think there's any way he resigns with them anyways. There's no way.
Yeah, I don't think he's. I mean, they've had arguably the best 2 players in baseball for the last 4 years, and they're still the Angels.
Yep.
They every time you look up, they've done something that's never been done before, and then they end up losing by 8 runs, and you're like, all right, that's just the Angels
unreal.
For you.
It's unreal. Angel's gonna, and they have Anthony Rendon that can't stay healthy, but you would think that that threesome of those three would get you some wins, and they just can't. Bro, oh my God, you got me excited about that. Holy shit, Shohei to the Astros would be unreal. That would be unreal.
That would break Twitter for sure.
Oh yeah. People would not know what to do with that, and I would learn Japanese. Shit. We move on to the next one. Shit.
Third down.
All right, the NFL draft.
Ooh.
We won. The Houston Texans. It was like draft day with Kevin Costner. It really was. Like, it was incredible. It was like, no way, we got both of them. I think any time that you get 2 out of the top 5 players in the draft in one draft, that's considered a W. The more I look back on it, I do think we gave away a lot. For the Will Anderson.
They had a lot.
They do have a lot. They have a lot of picks. They have a lot of capital to do that kind of stuff. And do I believe that he's going to be? I do. I think when I watch his tape and I see him, I'm like, this is a Von Miller. Like, he's a freak of nature defensive end. He's an athlete. He's an Alabama product. I think that's
dude.
All that's good stuff. All that's good
You
stuff.
ever heard him talk?
Yeah.
Guys,
cool.
amazing.
He's great. I was big on Caleb Williams. I still am big on Caleb Williams. I would have been cool with just take Will Anderson at 2. Yes, the most Houston Texans fans are going to get mad at you about that. They're going to throw a bit of a fit and go, oh my God, here we are doing the Mario Williams, Jadeveon Clowney thing. But if we would have sucked again, which if we would have rolled Davis Mills out there, we would have sucked again. And if we could have gotten a chance at Caleb Williams, I think it would have been worth it. However, I do like this aggressiveness. We've never been this way in the past. We've never done something like this in the past, ever.
Well, they've never since David Carr, they've never drafted a quarterback above the 3rd round.
Yeah.
So.
And I was big on Bryce Young going into this year. I thought, let's suck and lose a bunch of games and let's go get Bryce Young. I think he's a great talent. However, seeing him next to those Panthers fucking offensive linemen.
All right, dude, I love that. I love Bryce Young as a dude. I think he's extremely smart, extremely good at football. But dude, I watched the Carolina Panthers video, and the offensive lineman stood up after the play.
Yeah,
and he's a child.
It looked like when they were like filming the Lord of the Rings, and they would like do like little optical illusions, and they would put the one close. I was like, no, he's not standing next to them though, is he? Because he's not the same human as those guys. And you look at there are. Obviously, there's Drew Brees, there's Russell Wilson. There is a way. Yes, you're right. And there is a way to be a smaller quarterback and stay healthy and stay upright and like do that. But then you look at guys like Kyler Murray who can't stay healthy. Is Kyler Murray all of a sudden gonna come back after this injury and be a different player? No, he's still gonna be a little motherfucker that's gonna get lit up. Same thing for Bryce Young. I don't see this going well. I do not see this going well. I think we dodged a bullet, to be honest. I think maybe it was a blessing in disguise that we lost that or that we won that last game and ended up with the number 2 pick. Because I like CJ Stroud. You watch what he did against Georgia. He's got moxie. He's got it. He's got a real quarterback arm. So
I think Frank Reich will be. That division sucks. The NFC South.
Yes,
and I think it'll be pretty bad for a while. But that being said, I think there's a way for him to succeed. I don't think he's going to be a superstar. I do think that I was so bummed that they won that last game. That Lovie Smith just threw up a big F you and threw a middle finger and peace out.
Going for 2.
And then the interception go right through that DB's hands.
Jesus
it just
Christ.
happened.
Jesus Christ.
But now that I think about it, Stroud and I went back and forth through the entire pre-draft process with Bryce Young and Stroud. I was a Bryce Young stan. I couldn't get over the talent. What he can do is smart. All that S2 crap came out, and then you look at Stroud. He's like, oh, okay, well, he's the best wide receiver room in college football for the last 2 years, bar none. Probably better than what the Texans have right now.
Definitely.
If you look at Marvin Harrison Jr. But you look at his anticipation of what he did against Georgia was. They knew what he was going to do, but they didn't know he had some legs, which was nice to see.
Yeah,
just dominated that the closest thing to an NFL defense you can possibly get in the collegiate level with that Georgia defense, and just took them apart. And then a field goal kicker lost the game for them. Every in this system though, with the Kubiak Shanahan system, which is what I've been wanting since Kubiak left, and we're like, oh, Bill O'Brien, we'll try to make Deshaun Watson Tom Brady, which was never possible. It just wasn't his game. And to sit there and watch that offense, which every single play was just the route tree, is just like, I guess one of these receivers will do something. Got bailed out a lot by Hopkins, Fuller. But now that we have
Deshaun Watson being a fucking stud, that's what it really came down to.
We can talk about that in a little bit about Deshaun Watson, but for now, it's that with him being in that Kubiak very quarterback friendly offense, and seeing him having guys just going to be running wide open, and then being able to do what he's going to do in that offense. I'm so excited with Dameon Pierce, being the running back.
Yeah,
by
I don't know receivers. Who are the receivers?
That is a question, man. It's that receiver room is tough. Robert Woods is going to be your number one. I think there's going to be a trade, so they're going to sign somebody. Not very many players available though. DeAndre Hopkins is available, but I don't know if he's going to want to break the bank. You can move around some money and free up. They have a shitload of cap space next year, something like $90 million.
What does DeAndre Hopkins want? Does he want to win? Does he want money? It's a good question. I think that CJ Stroud and also I love D'Amico, and I think he'll make the defense better, which we have not had a good defense ever since JJ Watt left. We have been a subpar defense at best. We have moments where we look okay. We have guys that look okay, but overall we can't stop shit. I mean, even
letting DJ Reader walk and go to Cincinnati was Bill O'Brien's demise. That's where it all started going downhill. That all of a sudden, and even in 2020 when JJ was there, they couldn't stop a fucking nosebleed. Deshaun was putting up astronomical numbers in 2020 and just couldn't win games.
Bill O'Brien too. I ever see you out in the real world, Bill O'Brien, I'm gonna bust that fat butt chin of yours.
Oh yeah, Bill O'Brien, you had got too much power. You were a little corrupted, my friend. Thought you could do too much. You and old Jack Easterby.
But I do. You overall, you love what the Texans did, right?
It's hard not to. They still have the first round pick next year. It's like all the media wanted it to be like, the Texans harvested their entire draft capital for the next 2 years. They have all the draft picks next year. Still, they have two third round picks. They have Cleveland's first still. So take a little bit of what you got with the bad luck with Deshaun Watson being a perv, and use that towards getting you somebody that is a game changer. That is a Will Anderson and a CJ Stroud, and so I don't mind it at all. Now, if they did a Laramie Tunsil type deal where they give it the next 3 year first round draft picks, you're like, all right, I don't really know if that guy's worth it. You can get a lot more playmakers for that.
Yeah,
but the entire process, it's hard not to love it, dude. We've been sitting back for so long, we've been tanking for 3 years.
Yeah,
this sucks.
Yeah, that was a Bill O'Brien thing too, right? The Laramie Tunsil thing.
That was, although I didn't hate that deal. I hated the DeAndre Hopkins deal when David Johnson terrible contract. Being like, no, we'll take all of David Johnson's contract. Yeah, an aging a running back,
and we'll give you our franchise wide receiver.
What? Made no sense. I don't understand that at all. No sense. Getting fleeced on the kind of the Jadeveon Clowney trade a little bit, could have gotten more for him.
Yeah,
just not doing good. They're signing guys like Randall Cobb and Murray to deals that you're like, what are you're just giving good contracts to like youth ministers that are good guys.
Bill O'Brien's a joke.
Just was in over his head, got too much power, and I guess is extremely can tell you to do anything because he convinced Cal McNair to give the team over to him, and that just wasn't smart. That guy's manipulative.
I think that next year we probably win. I want to say somewhere in the 6 to 7 games. We're definitely more middle of the pack than we are bottom of the barrel because of CJ Stroud. I think he helps us win some games, which is good because, like you said, we have all these picks. So it'd be nice to be somewhere still like in the top 10 area, and continue the rebuild. Because
they have such a weak schedule next year, though. I can really make a case. And I'm not going to get crazy, but you can make a case for coming out with 8 or 9 wins with that schedule. They're not really playing anyone.
Well, our division is sorry, so you're going to see some wins there.
I'm not convinced that Jacksonville is a great team as they are. I'm just not convinced. There hasn't been enough evidence there.
I think I am. I think maybe not great. Maybe great's the wrong word, but I think they turned a corner. And I think Doug Peterson's going to get them right back to. And again, they play our shitty division too. So they get easy wins against the Titans and the Colts as well. So
yeah, Trevor Lawrence did play better towards the last half of of the season, and you can chalk up his first year to the Urban Meyer conundrum, whatever that was.
Yeah.
But still, they've spent a lot of money. They have Calvin Ridley coming in, which is going to be a difference. But their defense just isn't that good.
No, they're not.
And Ngakoue is not that great. He hasn't been really shown up. Trayvon Walker was a #1 pick last year. He was a flub last year.
He wasn't great. Yeah.
Josh Allen is still Josh Allen and not that great. You just don't look at their defense and you're like, it's not the 2017 Jacksonville defense where you're like, those guys will shut down Tom Brady or anyone, and almost did.
Yeah.
But I'm not convinced yet. I'm not going to say that they're going to be. I think they're the leader in the division so far until I see otherwise.
Yeah.
But I'm not convinced that there's some powerhouse 12. The AFC is so stacked. It's
so
unbelievable
stacked.
that Deshaun Watson is maybe the 8th or 9th best quarterback in the conference.
So let's talk about Deshaun Watson. I think it's kind of similar to an Ime Udoka thing, to be honest with you. I know that he got charges pressed. What he did was, like, if you want me to believe that all of these girls were in this room and they were all scared and they were all being against their will, being sexually assaulted, I can listen to it, and I can go down the path of, yes, okay, this was wrong, and but the truth is that most of the stories that you hear are when he did pull his dick out and they would go, no, they would say, no, I don't want this. He would usually just go, oh, okay, my bad. He'd put his clothes on and he'd leave. So is it a serial weird thing that he did? Did he obviously have a problem because he went to fucking 60, 100 plus, whatever it is, masseuses in like 2 years? It's too many. He clearly has a kink. He clearly loves the massage porn. That's #1 for him on Pornhub. He loves the massage porn. That's what he gets off on. I would guarantee, because I know how the whores are, there was at least 30 to 40 of those chicks that were like, oh my God, I shaved my pussy today because I knew I was going to massage Deshaun Watson. Oh yeah, you can absolutely fuck me. I'm so excited that you're going to fuck me. There were girls that were so excited and fucked the shit out of him because he is Deshaun Watson and he's a good looking, tall, fucking athlete that has money. And I think that what he did was wrong. If I'm the Texans, I don't let him go. You can't go anywhere. I'm sorry. We have worked for so long to find our guy. You're our guy. When you play and you're on, you're top 5. When Deshaun Watson is at his best, he's top 5. And I'll say this. I've said it. Jacksonville is actually one of the teams fantasy-wise that I think I'm going to roll with. I'll take Travis Etienne. I'll take all those guys. I think Evan Ingram's a good tight end. If you can get him lower, I think he actually played pretty well at the end of the year. But my other team that I'm going to roll with is the Cleveland Browns. They're going to be good. They're going to be good.
I don't know. So I'm going to back up to the Deshaun Watson and just kind of start from the beginning. So what happens is 2020 rolls around. He gets basically popped by 24 at the time, women coming forward. Granted, this is right after he gets paid. Okay, I'm not going to say there's correlation, but you have to mention that. I do think that if you have that many women coming forward, a small percentage of them, which is 2 or 3, 4, is enough to believe at the most that they genuinely felt like they were assaulted. Okay, I'm not going to say that I know exactly what went on. I got to be honest. Admittedly, I don't know exactly. I didn't read the reports. I don't know what's going on. I know that he messed up royally, and then he wanted out. That was the problem. It was like, all right, we're paying you. So he took $10 million in 2021 to not play. He lost out $30 million for that year. He is the one that said, I am not playing in Houston.
Yeah, but the NFL, I mean, you've had players do that before, and the NFL can just go, you signed the extension, bro. I don't give a fuck. You can say that all. I don't know. If I'm the Texans, I would have dug my heels in and said, look, the public can be mad at us about this. He can be mad at us about this all he wants. But holy shit. Dog bomb. But
dog.
Oh my gosh. Okay. I don't know. I'm like, I understand what he did was wrong. I understand the whole, like, I get the whole way that everything happened. It made sense. It didn't make me go like, oh my God, what the fuck are we doing? But for me, I would have dug my heels in and said, you're not going anywhere. We have our fucking guy. There's a reason that Cleveland did what they did. There's a reason, because when he plays, he's on.
Yeah, I think you can be a head coach like Imadoka and be out of the game for a while and then come back and still plug yourself right back in. I don't think you can necessarily do that with football and being a quarterback with something that is such predicated on touch and accuracy and all these things that you need to be doing constantly. Not that he just wasn't playing in competition.
Well,
and Cleveland is one thing that it's right off the lake. That wind is treacherous. That's one of the reasons why Browns can't find a quarterback ever. It's because they have an outdoor stadium for some weird reason. I don't know why anyone has an outdoor stadium in 2023.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
But you have swirling winds coming out of there. He hasn't played in a long time. The only thing he has going for him is that he is in a QB-friendly Kubiak offense, Shanahan offense that he can get by with. They have a great defense. They have a great roster. But I'm not sold that he's going to go back to 2017 or 2020 Deshaun Watson. I don't think that we can guarantee that.
Last year was kind of a wash.
He sucked last year. He was so bad.
He was,
when he
but
came
I mean,
back.
you can't. To me, it was like he hasn't played in a year and a half.
Right.
You kind of expected him to come in and struggle. I knew that those struggles were going to be there. But I will say, last couple games of the year where he started lighting up David Njoku, he started connecting with Amari Cooper better, you went, oh, shit, okay, well, I mean, they didn't really have anything to play for. They weren't going to make the playoffs. I don't know how much of the rest of the team was really invested in the games the way that maybe I don't know how invested he was in those games. I think he kind of thought of last year as just, I need to go out there and just get my legs back under me. I think that first of all, his contract is going to screw them in the future. In the next 3 years, they are going to not be able to sign anybody because his contract is just going to be such a cap hit.
Yeah.
But right now, this year, you still got Nick Chubb, you still got Amari Cooper, you've got Elijah Moore now. I just see them. This is maybe the perfect sort. Their defense has still got Myles Garrett. They have pieces to where they can be a pretty good team. Do I think they win a Super Bowl? No. Do I have them over Kansas City or Cincinnati or Buffalo, even the Jets or Miami? No, not really. But I could see them being a good team. And fantasy-wise, I think that's why. Because fantasy football-wise, Deshaun Watson used to be a monster.
Oh, yeah.
Because he rushes, too.
Yeah.
He gets rushing touchdowns, too. So I could see him being kind of everything for this offense. And I think that's what I'm kind of hedging my bets on.
He's going to need to be.
Yeah, he's going to have to be.
Because that, number one, that division is tough. That conference is tough.
No, very tough.
Now, if they're in the NFC, I'd be like, yeah, he's got a shot to go pretty far. I'm rooting against the Browns so hard because of my Texans bias and having their first round draft pick.
Right, yeah.
And that being our only draft pick. So I will root against Deshaun Watson and the Browns for the rest of my life, I think. For just the sole reason that you got caught, bro, and then you said, I'm not playing in Houston.
Yeah, it's a bit of a weak move. It's a weak move.
You finished that 2019 game against Kansas City and still backed Bill O'Brien.
Yeah, it's a weak move.
That's your fault, bro.
It's a weak move.
You're the reason that they started 0-4 and fired Bill O'Brien in 2020. It was downhill from there.
It's a weird situation. I don't know if a player has ever kind of like maybe Michael Vick with the dog stuff. Like, I don't know if there's ever been a time where a player's been faced with what he was faced, where it's like, bro, you're going to get canceled. Like, you're in big trouble. You could do jail time, blah, 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 blah. And then, also go play on this team that's maybe not going to be very good.
Yeah.
I mean, he would have made them a lot better, but I think it was a weird situation. I don't know what he was supposed to do in that moment. I don't like what he did. I don't like the fact that he was like, I want out. I'm with you. I think that was a weak move. It didn't make me like him anymore. That it was like,
I hated him. In 2021,
what are you talking about? What did we do wrong in this situation?
Well, Bill O'Brien traded DeAndre Hopkins.
Which was bad.
That was like, all right, dude, I'm understand if you're upset.
Yeah,
and I understand that you're upset with that move, but bro, you're paid a handsome.
Yeah,
you're paid to entertain, dude. We want to see you out there. Now we, as a fan base who didn't have anything to do with this, have to sit out here and watch Davis Mills, which God forbid. And David Coley being the head coach who punted on what did he do? Oh, he declined a fourth down flag and then literally punted on third down and didn't even take the flag that would have given and then David Coley was the worst. But we had to sit through that, man, and that wasn't like you're paid to entertain. Yeah. We had no one out there. Just go out there and play, dude, and no one can blame you.
Well, and I will say this, that if he does suck from here on out, we will look back at that moment as that was the end of his career.
Yeah.
But him doing that, making that choice to step away from football for the year and a half that he did, it cost him his career because he never got back to it. So
I don't know if he's going to suck. I think he'll be fine as a quarterback. He just won't be, I don't think, at the level that he was in 2018, 2019, and 2020 for the most part. That guy put up astronomical numbers in 2020, like historical numbers for what he did, and still could only win 4 games. So, I'll root against him for the rest of my life.
I understand why.
I am biased, but
the only other thing that I put on there for the draft that I want to talk about is the Eagles. Holy ball sack, the Eagles. Yeah. Oh, my God. Why are we just letting all the Georgia Bulldogs now grow old in Philadelphia? They have the whole Georgia defense.
Yeah, they do.
They have them all.
That was it's crazy how some teams just have shit fall to them.
Yeah.
And that was one of those instances. Now they lose both coordinators to the Colts and to Arizona. I don't know how they were going to replace that. Maybe they have some guys that'll step up.
I think in the NFC, I don't think it matters.
Yeah, I think that's the one thing to go for. I don't know if you can picture a Super Bowl or an NFC championship without the minute.
No, no way. I
don't know if I don't know if they're the best in the league. I think they're definitely very, very good. They're great, and they're in the NFC.
They will have a top record. They will definitely be the number 1 seed. I think that they might have the best just because they might have the best of the whole league because the AFC is so tough, and they all have to play each other, so it's so tough. But I was ahead of the game on Jalen Hurts. I said 2 years ago that I was like, I think this Jalen Hurts guy might be pretty good in the NFL. I was always anti-Dak Prescott. And and he's a dog. I like Jalen Hurts a lot. If we had Jalen Hurts as our quarterback, I would be fucking psyched about that. Did you know that Russell Wilson had a trade set to go to Philly for Jalen Hurts and a bunch of picks, but he chose Denver? He kiboshed that.
I think I had heard about that. I haven't thought about it in a long time.
That came out recently, and I was like, wow, what a difference that would have, what a ripple effect that would have caused. First of all, Geno Smith doesn't have his resurgent year because Jalen Hurts is probably the starter, and they probably do really well. Who's the quarterback of Denver? Do they struggle?
Drew Lock, baby.
Drew Lock, probably.
I love Drew Lock.
Yeah, Drew Lock is good, and you know what? He's going to get lost in the sauce because now Geno Smith has that job, and I don't know if Drew Lock he might get a chance somewhere down the road, but maybe Geno gets hurt this year.
I just like his overall. So like Jalen Hurts to
He's got
me
an arm.
Is a very. He's a perfect example of that second round guy who doesn't have very good first 2 years. He didn't really have that good. He rushed well and threw okay, but he wasn't really asked to do much. That's why Philadelphia was willing to trade him at some point. But that year, last year, was unbelievable.
Yeah, it was crazy.
I loved watching him play. That guy is he's a good dude. He's incredibly athletic, just has a great head on his shoulders. I love watching that team and him play.
Yeah.
They have questions, though, the Eagles do on the O-line, I think, with their left tackle for sure.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I expect them to be awesome. I think they have a couple question marks, but...
Clear favorite, I think, in the NFC, but, you got to let it play out. And like you said, there's all kinds of things that can happen in football. And a couple, the trade for DeAndre Swift is big. I like that in fantasy. I would take DeAndre Swift for sure. But yeah, wow. NFL draft, third down was a doozy.
Fourth down.
All right, so this is where you get your fantasy football. This is how you become a legend, the fantasy legend. I did this strategy last year, and I think it's going to be my strategy going forward, where I pick teams that I will not draft from. So I pick my yes teams, obviously, my teams that are good, that I obviously, anytime that one of those players come up, pull the green light, I'll do it. But I pick my teams that I think are going to be the bottom of the barrel. I pick my teams that I think the offense are going to be really bad. It worked out pretty well last year. I didn't win, but I did have really good records, and I was doing well for most of the year. Just got to the playoffs and had a bunch of injuries. But I think it works when, yes, is Jonathan Taylor gonna probably be? Yeah, I agree. I can't believe that ESPN has him that high. They have him as the number 2 right now.
Watch him play the running back position. He had a great 2021, no doubt. Led the league in rushing, led in touchdowns. Watch all of his big plays. Are they elusive plays? They're just hitting the gap and going, which there's a spot for that. But he's not making these incredible plays and missed tackles like your Derrick Henrys and biasly so Dameon Pierce. But
yeah.
He just wasn't a guy, and I fell for that shit last year. I did draft him in like 2 leagues last year, thinking that he was just a guaranteed 300 carry type of guy.
Yeah.
Work back, workforce, just barreling.
But even like Austin Eckler, like I see more talent out of Austin Eckler than Jonathan Taylor.
100%.
Like,
well, he also
Austin
gets 130 targets.
Yeah, he catches, and so I wasn't big on Jonathan Taylor. I didn't think it was worth all the hype. I get it that he had the year that he had in 2021, but I was out last year. I'm definitely out this year, and it's because Indianapolis falls under my will not draft from that team. New England, Indianapolis, Houston, Vegas.
No Dameon Pierce at all.
And I understand it. Dameon Pierce is going to have, but the truth is he is, and he'll have great fantasy numbers. There will be, and I think this is why it worked for me last year. When there's teams that are lesser, which are the Houston Texans would fall under that. We are not top of the spear right now. We are going to have weeks where we play tough teams and our offense just gets manhandled and just doesn't do shit. And Dameon Pierce, unfortunately, is going to put up some bad weeks. He's going to altogether, fantasy-wise, have a great year, but there will be weeks where I need him and he won't come through. And so I think that's why I've started this strategy where it's like, no matter what, there are great players. Terry McLaurin on Washington is a great receiver.
Johan Dotson.
Yeah, I mean, there was a couple of them. I mean, the Curtis Samuel played well, but I can't draft them when I know that Washington's going to play Philly a couple of times a year and get fucking stomped out. They're going to play some AFC team at some point and they're going to get killed and they're going to put up a really bad week. So
yeah, I think you got to look at it's also a nuanced discussion because if Dameon Pierce is sitting there in the 4th round with all your other guys and you went wide receiver heavy, sign me up.
Well, yeah. I mean,
so like all those guys too that all right, this guy's going to at least get 100 targets. Has the upside in round 6 or 7 where I can take a little chance on him and know he's still going to get the targets. Is not going to get injured or hopefully not going to get injured, and I hopefully pay off by going a little aggressive towards the beginning. I do like that, but see the thing with Dameon Pierce, and just because I watched every single snap, this offense is just the zone gap scheme where he hits a hole, takes a cut and goes and he's wide open. The Nick Chubb offense. Everything that they did in San Francisco, everything that they did in LA with the Rams, like all those Nick Chubb, I already said him, all good. Arian Foster, just watching those types of running backs, like they're not the most athletic, but if they can read where their hole's going to be, they're going to get the outside zone and get their guys in open space. I think Dameon Pierce is going to eat, and he can also break tackles.
You found one out of my little group here that and I think you also have a bias towards
100%.
Houston in this. So I can hear you on that, but I think if you look at the rest of the teams, you gotta respect the fact that Mike Evans in Tampa Bay. He's great. But he's got Baker Mayfield thrown to him now. This isn't going to work. Devontae Adams in Las Vegas. As much as I want to spend a 1st or 2nd round pick on Devontae Adams, he's not going to have the years that he's had in the past. It's not going to happen. And he's going to have bad weeks when they get beat by the Kansas City Chiefs and the Los Angeles Chargers. It's just going to happen.
Yeah.
And, there's young players on Atlanta and New Orleans, Chris Olave and Drake London that are really good, but I can't trust, I'll never fall for a Derek Carr. I was very high on the Raiders last year. I thought that the Raiders could make the playoffs and maybe even win their division. I said that crazy shit. Let me tell you, I will never back a Derek Carr team ever again. Derek Carr sucks, just like his brother. And New Orleans has a chance because that division is a joke. That division is terrible. And there's, they have a chance. That entire division is in my no category.
I like Olave. Obviously, Kamara is fine. I don't know if he's going to be in your first round this year, but it's all about workload. If these guys are going to get 25 touches as a running back every week, I'll take my chances with having an off game here and there. That's what I think Dameon Pierce is going to do. He has Singleton now from Buffalo. That's going to take a little bit of his load off. Yeah. But he's going to get targets too out of the backfield. I just bring up Dameon Pierce as an example of like, that dude is a dog.
I think
for the most part though, with New England, Indianapolis, Houston, Vegas, Washington, Atlanta, New Orleans, Arizona, Tampa Bay, Carolina, those guys are going to be probably at the bottom.
It's going to be bad.
Like with Atlanta, I felt for the Kyle Pitts last year.
Everyone
that guy had an incredible rookie year.
Yeah,
he had so many great catches, athletic. I thought it was the next Travis Kelce. He could still end up being that. I just don't think it's going to be on the Falcons.
Well, it's a good segue. Now, if you had the number one pick, who are you doing?
I'm probably PPR. Mm-hmm. I'm probably doing Justin Jefferson. Yeah.
Which is fair. I do not hate on a Justin Jefferson pick. I totally 100% understand it. The dude does nothing but put up numbers. And while I'm not the biggest Minnesota Vikings fan or a Kirk Cousins fan, you cannot deny what Justin Jefferson has done year after year. So I 100% understand that. But it is a good segue as we talk about Kyle Pitts, where if I am the number one pick this year, I'm taking Travis Kelce.
I think that would have been the correct choice last year. I think they came forward and said that was the most coveted just for his position. How much he scored for his position.
He scored 100 more points than T.J. Hawkinson, who's number 2.
Yeah,
100 more points. The gap is just so big between how good he is compared to the next tight end that I feel like, because that's the thing, Kyle Pitts, Evan Ingram, you're just rolling the dice. You're going, I think this guy will be like, last year it was me with Darren Waller. I thought, this is going to be Darren Waller's year. He's going to have a breakout year. Devontae Adams is going to help open up the field for him. And it just didn't happen. He's too injury prone. And I think as far as tight ends go, TJ Hawkinson probably will have another good year like he did last year, and you've got Mark Andrews, who was always pretty good. George Kittle's always pretty good. But Travis Kelce, man, I mean, there's a reason that he's top 10 in this little mock draft.
Yeah, because he is going to be 34 though.
Well,
now you got to think. Well, we did this with Brady. Well, I did. I know you didn't, but we did this with Brady. When is he going to start deteriorating?
Yeah.
But Travis Kelce takes a lot of hits.
Yeah.
He's 34.
Yeah.
I'm not going to blame anyone, especially with the year that he had last year with losing Tyreek Hill and him getting the volume that he did with number one.
Now they don't have the receivers. So now Juju's gone, McCole Hardman's gone. They're basically...
It don't matter with Mahomes.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. And the reason that it doesn't matter is because he's going to hit Travis Kelce. Travis Kelce's going to get 10 plus targets a game. I guarantee it. And it doesn't matter. He might get, it could be a monster year for him just because they don't have the same weapons that they had in the past. And that offense is still going to be that offense. So I like Jamar Chase.
I love Jamar Chase.
With my algorithm, with my little rule of my strategy, that's why I have X's next to some of the guys that are in the top 10, like Jonathan Taylor. Bijan Robinson, I fell for the Najee Harris thing a couple of years ago. It's tough with a rookie running back. Is he going to get the rock? Yes. Is he going to be a huge part of their offense? Yes. But I don't trust Desmond Ridder, and I don't trust the Atlanta Falcons. They're going to put up a lot of duds as far as offense go, and I think he could have some tough games.
That's one of those guys that is on the cusp of that first or second round where you're taking a chance on him, but the Atlanta has run the most the last 2 years.
Yeah.
You know he's going to get the rock.
You know he's going to get it.
He's going to get the rock a lot. And if he is the next AP, which is what they're saying, I watched him at Texas for 3 years. That guy is an unbelievable talent.
A beast.
I think he is the best running back prospect to come out. Yeah. Also, their bias is included, so take that with a grain of salt. But if he is that center point piece with Desmond Ridder, I don't know if he's going to be anything. I don't expect him to be. But I know that they run the ball the most, and I know that he's going to get his 25 touches.
I think Atlanta and Washington, unfortunately, are going on my plan for Caleb Williams. I think Atlanta and Washington both said, we're good. We won't make a push for Lamar Jackson. We won't make a push for Aaron Rodgers because we see how good Drake May and Caleb Williams are, and we want in that sweepstakes. So
I don't know. Washington has Riverboat Ron. They do. They're always winning 7, 8, 9 games.
And they probably will.
But Taylor Heineke went out there and won as many games.
I think the owner of the new owner or the former owner of Washington. Maybe he is on the same mindset that I am of Caleb Williams and that they should lose. But you're right, Riverboat Ron probably won't let him, and they probably will end up winning 6 or 7 games.
Yeah, I think the Arizona's in Tampa Bay for sure. They're dog trash.
Yeah, they're going to be terrible.
I think Arizona and Tampa Bay. People have Houston up there because they're just dumb and they just don't know. Indianapolis, I am not an Anthony Richardson fan. I think he was terrible at Florida, and he's just extremely athletic.
Well, it would have been better had he's going to get thrown to the Wolves. They're going to have to start him.
They'll start him for sure.
I don't know.
They got Shane. The only thing they're like, we got Steichen. Maybe he can work his Jalen Hurts magic on Anthony Richardson. But Jalen Hurts was athletic at Alabama. He was accurate at Alabama. He was accurate at Oklahoma. I mean, the guy's an athlete. It's not that dude. The guy completed 55% of his passes in Florida. And is absolute an athlete out of his mind. But dude, I don't expect. How's he? To him, that was one of those things about the draft. There's all these talks and rumors with all these draft experts that just start. You have guys that aren't even in the first round conversation. Once December is around, January is around, the season starts tapering off. All of a sudden, these guys talk him up to where these guys also get convinced that Anthony Richardson.
Have you seen the Will Levis clips?
Oh yeah,
he can't hit a
he's just the white Anthony Richardson to me.
He can't hit a single. Like they were showing these like the little nets with the targets in it, and he threw like 4 in a row where he missed the net completely. Didn't even hit the net. No, Will Levis, no sir. But I will say. What was I going to say about Indianapolis? I will say there are a couple of intriguing, like Michael Pittman Jr. actually puts up numbers. Alex Pierce, there's their number 2 is pretty good. So there's a couple of them in that group that if you're doing fantasy football, you could be intrigued and you're like, ooh, maybe I get him because he's going to be the best. But that's what I'm saying that if I'm. Let's say the 12 is that perfect spot to look at it. Let's say I am in that 12 range, and my choices are Devontae Adams, Stephon Diggs, or CeeDee Lamb. Well, I'm going to go with Stephon Diggs over Devontae Adams because I know Buffalo's offense is going to be good, and I know Diggs is going to have a lot of good weeks. I know CeeDee Lamb's on this offense is going to be good, so I know that's going to be a better maybe a full year that I'm going to get out of them fantasy-wise. The other one that I have to admit, and we texted about it last year, I was very anti-Christian McCaffrey, Saquon Barkley, and Ezekiel Elliott. I was not prepared for Christian McCaffrey to get traded to the San Francisco 49ers, but I was also wrong. I mean, he played the whole year. Him and Saquon had a great year. They definitely proved me wrong. Now, was I right to be worried about their injury history and that they both could have gone down with injuries? I think we saw Zeke Zeke filtered off and is not really the same guy anymore, but I am dead wrong on Christian McCaffrey, and going forward this year, I would gladly take Christian McCaffrey in the San Francisco 49er offense. He's going to kill it.
Yeah, I think that Christian McCaffrey's even he's too low, I think, on 9, but that's okay. I think he's going to get the volume next year. He's in a much easier offense than that. I mean, he was the only one, him and wide receiver that just got traded to Chicago. DJ Moore. I mean, it was just them two with no quarterback. Yeah. So I don't know. I think if he lasts to 9 and you're sitting at 9, you're like, hell yeah. I got steal.
Cooper Kupp. I like Cooper Kupp.
Question mark, but I understand your question mark.
The question mark is the Rams. It's not necessarily Cooper Kupp. Is he a great player? Yes, he's bouncing back from an injury, but I don't know what the Rams are going to be. It's hard for me to buy in to what the Rams were based on last year. Same thing with the Titans. Yeah. I like Derrick Henry. I know what Derrick Henry is. He's a beast, but The Titans are going to be
trash.
They're going to be trash. They're going to be middle of the road. They're going to have bad weeks.
The AFC South, I will say this about the AFC South, it won't be the best division. Let's just go ahead and say that. But it might be one of the most interesting. Because every single quarterback in there, you got Trevor Lawrence, you got Stroud, you got Levis, and you got Richardson. At least that's going to be like at least a storyline throughout the entire year about those 4 guys.
Yeah.
I think that'll be interesting about this. I don't expect,
the NFC South will be the worst. They will.
Yeah, probably.
Definitely be the worst.
Derrick Henry, he's been a stud for the last 17 years.
But I take Christian McCaffrey over him.
I'm not gonna disagree hard with that.
I take Austin Eckler over Derrick Henry.
Austin Eckler is a guy that you're like, where was that last year? Why didn't I even think about that? It's like that. Yeah. That he's got the volume at running back, and then he's got 177,000 touches.
Now it seems like he might be playing for a contract. So I think this could be
he had a little raise.
A little one, but this could be a great year. I think Nick Chubb has a great year.
I think Nick Chubb might move into your top 5 by the beginning
I think that's safe. I think if you take him high, I think you're very happy with it because I think he gets a lot, especially if they're going to be more balanced. They have to be. They can't be like, hey, Deshaun, be like you were your rookie season. Like that's just not going to happen. AJ Brown is a dog. I would definitely take AJ Brown.
Although Devon Smith is also a dog, and he might be taking some targets away from him.
Yeah, but I mean they were both there. They were both there last year, and that offense is going to score. So it's a safe bet either way. I'm with you. Garrett Wilson with Aaron Rodgers. I like that. Give me Breece Hall. Give me Alan Lazard later on. I'll take a lot of those Jets. I will say I don't know if this Jets situation is the same as Tampa Bay for Tom. You know what Tom walked into with Tampa Bay? That was like the perfect storm of like all they really needed was a quarterback to come in and not turn the ball over. You had Mike Evans and Chris Godwin at the height of their powers. You had a defense that way overperformed. I don't know if the Jets are necessarily there. I don't know if Garrett Wilson is Mike Evans and if Alan Lazard or McCole Hardman is Chris Godwin, but I think the Jets are much better, obviously, with Aaron Rodgers, and I think they have a chance.
The Jets situation is interesting because I don't know why he chose to do this the exact same way that Brett Favre did.
I know, it's so
weird. But Brett Favre
right?
went to the Jets and just blew ass.
Yeah.
He didn't do very well. He's getting old. Aaron Rodgers is going to be 40.
Yeah.
But he is in that Kubiak offense where he was in Green Bay with LaFleur. It's the same offense.
Yeah. And Hackett.
Yeah. And so Nathaniel Hackett's going to be his OC. I don't know if this is going to be a scapegoat or what.
Yeah.
But it's not like that guy's going to be 40. And that defense is stacked. That I wouldn't surprise me at all. I don't know why the ayahuasca told him to go play in the AFC. That doesn't make much sense to me.
No,
when
doesn't.
the NFC is wide open, but that's where he wanted to be.
Well, I think it's more that he did the Brady thing where he looked around and said, who's a good young team? So in the NFC, like where was he gonna go? What NFC team would be his path to a Super Bowl? I just don't know if it's there. If San Francisco would have fielded that call, maybe, but they've got enough. They got enough problems. They're not ready to take on that as well. So I don't know. Seattle made their choice and they re-signed Geno. That would have been maybe a good place. Detroit is right on the cusp. That would have been nice.
He would have balled out with Detroit. I think he would have balled out in New Orleans. I think that's a good spot for him to go. They won't be as great as they have been historically because of David Carr, but that's a good roster. They have a good coach. They have a good foundation down there.
Yeah.
But other than that, you're right on the NFC team. But you still have a clearer path to a Super Bowl in the NFC, no matter what team you go to. Yeah, because
in the AFC, I don't see the path. I don't see you beating that top three. Kansas City, Buffalo, and Cincinnati. You want to win, that's where you got to go. I will say this about Miami. If Tua can stay healthy, I know that's the big if. It's all about if Tua can stay healthy. But them getting Jalen Ramsey, them getting Vic Fangio to coach that defense, them having another year of Mike McDaniel's offense under their belt, I like it.
It's easy to say that with all those pieces, but Tua likes to brace falls with his face.
So back of his head.
He doesn't know. And now he's taking like jujitsu to try to learn how to fall. Get the fuck out of here. There was one point there where I was talking a lot of trash before Tua started going downhill last year. I watched them play versus Houston. I watched Houston's defensive front, which had its moments last year, but just slam him down to the turf. And this guy obviously is uncoordinated.
Yeah,
he just doesn't know how to fall, and that's why you got guys.
And kind of a smaller guy. It's kind of a Bryce Young type situation again, where he's just not a big frame. Where is the if part of this? If he stays healthy, we're only saying that because we know he's going to get hit, and the chances are that he survives is very small. Yeah,
I said I got a lot of heat on Twitter from Miami fans last year because I was talking a lot of mess about Tua, and I said, if you want to put your faith in Tua, be my guest. This is not because of Tua. This is because of Mike McDaniel. His offense is incredible. We got playmakers everywhere with Tyreek Hill and all his wide receivers there. You got a running game that's fine. They just don't run the ball.
My real hope was that my man Tom was going to go there.
He was almost there, and that was another thing that I was saying. Dude, I felt like the Jon Snow gif where he was like, he pulls out a sword and all those fucking horses are coming out. Dude, I had so many replies, and it was just about how it was all because of Tua and not because of anything else. I was like, Tua, if you want to put your faith in Tua, we do this every single year.
Yeah.
It's fine. He doesn't have as much a weak arm as what they. I'm not even talking about his arm. I'm talking about him as a player.
No, he's
surrounded by.
It's
talent.
not about his arm, and it's not about his play. It's about he can't stay on the field because he's not a very, like you said, he's not a very bright guy, and he doesn't know how to
not
fall.
Now.
So, yeah, not anymore. Yeah, he's in a Will Smith movie now, going, tell them the truth. But I think that we hit every point here. I think we talked about.
We didn't talk about Baltimore.
Oh, Baltimore. I think Baltimore does the same thing that they always do. They put out a good regular season. They get to the playoffs, and they're going to get beat by one of the better teams.
New offense. We're going to see if Lamar Jackson is a product of Greg Roman over all these years. He's going to make him throw the ball.
Over under on Odell Beckham games played. Is
one
it?
quarter?
Yeah. I
don't know.
Like you go and you give this guy $15 million on a flyer that he didn't even play last year, and you're assuming that he's going to walk back in and be the old Odell. I just don't know. Zay Flowers is good, but rookie receivers, it takes time. I don't know if he walks right onto the field. He's a fucking Hall of Famer.
Division.
So. Tough division. Cincinnati. I'm a big Joe Burrow guy, so I think that's just Joe Burrow's division. I also think Kenny Pickett and the Pittsburgh Steelers, you talk about a coach that, Mike Tomlin's not going to let them be bad. They're not going to be bad. They're going to be right in the middle of the road.
Yeah, they'll win 8 or 9 games for some reason. You'll look back and say how.
Yeah,
I don't know. Kenny Pickett was a middle of the road quarterback in a draft last year that just wasn't good at quarterbacks at all. I'm going to have to see a little bit more out of him, but it's not going to be surprising if they come away with 8 or 9 wins. And
one of the guys on for fantasy though, George Pickens. George Pickens is a baller, so I'm into that as far as fantasy goes. I will say about Baltimore. I consistently sleep on them. I can every single year say because I don't think Lamar Jackson is a winning quarterback. I just don't. He gets into these pressure situations and he makes fucking terrible. Him and Dak Prescott, I've never seen we have, but they're the kind of quarterbacks that they get into these big moments. The butthole just.
Yeah, well, look, especially with that game at Tennessee 2 years ago when they get in the playoffs and all of a sudden they're down 14-0 and Lamar Jackson goes, I have to win this game pretty much by myself.
Yeah.
Because they're just not built to do that. At least they weren't 2 years ago. He's not going to come back and throw 17 touchdowns for you to win a football game. So he's got to. Then you throw their entire playbook out the window. You're like, we got to do this on the fly. We're not built to do this. We're built to get a lead and stick with it because our defense is going to clamp down. But then they jumped out to a 14-0 lead and it was ball game from pretty much there. So, yeah. I still don't believe in their playmakers. They got Mark Andrews, dog. They always have a good O-line, so they're going to put up points, but I don't know. They lost some guys in free agency on the defensive side. So
let's talk about AFC. So let's just real quick talk about AFC playoffs. So obviously, I think the division leaders are set. I think it's Kansas City, Buffalo, Cincinnati, and Jacksonville. I think that's pretty safe to say.
I don't know.
You could maybe make arguments that Jacksonville maybe isn't ready for that, and you can make arguments that Baltimore might have a great regular season and Cincinnati might stumble at points. But I think those 4 are going to make the playoffs just because of who they are.
Yeah.
Then after that, I think Miami. I think Baltimore probably will put together a good regular season to make it. And then that leaves just one spot for the Chargers, the Jets, the Browns, the Tennessee Titans. I mean,
Tennessee's going to be trash.
Yeah, they're going to be bad. Okay, so then who do you have as your... Well, first of all, do you see any difference there?
There's a lot of question marks. Denver, I don't believe that they're going to do anything to... Although it's not surprising, Sean Payton's a great coach.
I think they're better.
I'm not sure Russell Wilson is unbroken enough to where he can pull himself back together.
You might be right.
But if there's anyone that's capable of doing it, I think Sean Payton is one on a short list of guys that can do that.
Yeah.
In terms, I don't think Tennessee's going to do that. I don't think Houston's going to make the playoffs. I can see them winning surprisingly a more amount of games than the previous 3 years combined. Dude, that's the question about the AFC is how stacked it just is. KC,
somebody's going to get
Buffalo,
left out.
Cincinnati,
Somebody's going to get left out.
Miami, Cleveland, Jets, Chargers are, I guess, built on a burial ground. They get hurt every single year, although their roster's stacked. For some reason, they just, I don't know how their medical team is there. I guess they're all on meth. I don't know why they get hurt so much, but it's so aggravating because they're such a fun team to watch, dude. Like,
I'll say the Jets. I think the Jets can do it. I think the Jets can make that 7th spot, or at least somewhere in there. I think Miami, Jets, and I'll take the Baltimore.
I will say I don't know if Buffalo is a guarantee. I think they're great. They had O-line issues last year. I think they're going to have O-line issues this year. I think Josh Allen is going to get to a point to where is he going to start being just kind of leveling off and not being the superhero that he was.
They have to run the ball.
They have to. That O-line, though, man, is not. It's really not that good. And if he's running for his life again, it's a question. I'm not saying they're not going to be at the end of the year. I just don't know if they're going to be the guys that win that division.
If the Jets play really well, it could put some pressure on them because if they lose a couple of divisional games against Miami or New England, and then all of a sudden the Jets go on a little run, that could. You're right. It could put a little pressure on Buffalo. They might not be the front runners that I have them being. I think I automatically put those 3: the Kansas City, Buffalo, Cincinnati. I just say that's.
I really don't have a problem with that. I'm really kind of nitpicking at Buffalo. I think they're going to be awesome. I just think that the O-line was an issue for them last year. Ultimately, by the end of the year, and I think it's going to be an issue again this year because they didn't really address it at all. They had the first round draft pick that they picked, but I don't know.
Kansas City's turned into the monsters, though.
Yeah, it's just a matter of
you want to win.
If you are an AFC team, which is what our team is, it's so depressing to be like, all right, we're flipping this thing from rebuild over to just build up your roster. Yeah. So let these guys beat each other up for the next 3 years, and then get your CJ Stroud ready and relevant. But it's like, dude, we have a rookie quarterback on a rookie contract. This is now when you try to make your run, not necessarily his rookie year, but after that. But then you look up and you got all these teams, dude.
Yeah, it's so
aggravating.
It's so stacked, and it all has to do with the quarterback. I mean, all these teams that we're naming, maybe aside from Tua, is because they have the quarterback. They have their guy. So if CJ Stroud turns out to be the guy, then we can throw our name in the hat. And I think we've got a better chance in Carolina with Bryce Young because that boy looked too small for me.
Yeah, I think even Carolina's still in the rebuild process because that roster, they have some good guys. Burns is a great defensive linebacker.
They're definitely still in the rebuild.
They have some talent, but their offense is just
Christian McCaffrey's gone, DJ Moore's gone. They are 100% rebuilding. So. Yeah. But yeah, fantasy football, man. We're close. I was sending out text messages to my group talking about we're going to do a live draft this year. I love that. Love the live drafts. Done with the online drafts. I want to be there. I want to point at you and laugh whenever you draft Ezekiel Elliott.
Who's doing that?
Somebody will.
I don't even think he has a team, really.
Somebody at the end of this draft, I guarantee it. Even if it says FA next to his name, they're going to be like, you never know. It'll be a Cowboys fan that'll be like, you never know, he could come back. But we're about time. All right. right, it's been the longest podcast that you've ever been a part of. Joe Rogan's like, bro, y'all gotta chill. Take a break. No, I'm just kidding.
We haven't peed the whole time either.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. You know, it makes me mad that like I do try to shorten these podcasts, and like Joe Rogan doesn't do that at all. The greatest podcaster of all time. I mean, you got to be Joe Rogan. You got to have that kind of setup. But we've talked about it already. I will say it's funny that he brought this up, and I didn't even really think about it whenever I was picking my top. When I sat down and thought about top 10 movies of all time, I was like, okay. And I did try to think about current movies that I've seen. Like I thought about 3 Billboards Outside of Ebbing, Missouri. That was a couple of years ago. Everything Everywhere All at Once. I thought about maybe putting Dune in there. I thought Dune was one of the best movies I've seen in a long time.
And Lightyear.
Yeah. Yeah.
So bad. I saw that one.
It wasn't that bad.
It was bad.
It wasn't
dark
that great.
And gloomy and weird.
The lesbian couple I could have dealt without.
That's the only reason I watched it.
I could have dealt without. But it's funny that he's right. I picked all movies that are from like 20 years ago. Like they're all like older movies. But I have 2 lists here that I will give to you. So I have a list of what I think is respectable, Academy Award nominated, big movie stars. Obviously, everybody believes that those are the like. If I say these 10 movies, Forrest Gump, Fight Club, Inception, Braveheart, Road to Perdition's pretty high. That might be a me thing. That might just be how it makes me feel. I just love that movie. I love Tom Hanks. Children of Men, The Green Mile. Do I have 4 Tom Hanks?
I don't have a problem with that.
But I mean, it makes sense. Tom Hanks is that's my GOAT. He's my best actor of all time. So I think that's why I've got him in all this. But Children of Men, The Green Mile, V for Vendetta, that might be a me thing. Everything Everywhere All at Once comes in at number 9, and then Saving Private Ryan is number 10. Yeah, I think you've got a lot of pretty self-explanatory. There's a pretty widely loved movies. But then I have my list that is if I was being honest, if I was like my personal favorite movies of all time, my number 1 is Hook. Now, was that like a Oscar nominated? Was there are actually a lot of famous people in it, but it's just for me, like I've watched that movie so many times. It brings me back. It just the music, the John Williams music in it is fucking fun. How many John Williams are on here? Let's see. Maybe not a lot here.
1. Saving Private Ryan.
I think he might be Road to Perdition. I think he might have done. No, actually, I think I'm wrong.
That was a Sam Mendes movie, I believe.
Okay. Damn. Wow. Well, to be fair, John Williams does a lot of and that's the thing too. Like, as much as I want to be like Raiders of the Lost Ark or Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, Back to the Future 2, like I want to throw those in there, but those are epics that people have a real hard time putting in even though now that I'm saying it out loud, those are
top 30 list.
Those are. But okay, so I put Hook as number 1. Then I peppered in some of the other movies. So I went Forrest Gump, Fight Club, Inception. I think those are my top 3 as far as well made, the writing, the acting, the everything. All those movies are just incredible. Now number 5, which
I'm surprised by this.
I've made claims that this is the best movie of all time, just because there is no other movie that involves 19 other movies that then funneled down into one finale.
Okay, I agree with you, but there's one fatal flaw with the end game.
Oh, what's that?
And it's the way that they got around the time machine with the rat crawling on the van.
Oh,
okay. I cannot get over that part.
I actually knew that was good. It's such a funny.
What the fuck moment. I get. It's just like you're like, I am along for this ride. I'll accept it. Whatever.
Yeah, it's funny because when you watched it in the theaters, you really didn't think anything of it.
Oh, I did.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. I hope this isn't why they are able to.
Well, it was only because now. Do you think without Paul Rudd, they maybe would have thought of this at some point? Maybe. I don't know if Tony Stark would have gotten to this by himself. he maybe needed somebody to come. I mean, I don't know. But you're right. It is ridiculous. It is a ridiculous moment.
Now
that's maybe the only thing in it though. Because
I will say it's a damn near flawless movie. The time travel was a little bit okay. I get it. I didn't want that to happen, but I understand that's why you did it. It was just the way, like, the rat is in the van. Why did the rat get in the van?
I will say this. One of the reasons that I put it as high as I do is because I've never experienced a movie theater experience like this.
That's fair.
Ever. I've never been in a movie theater packed full, completely full movie theater, and we are all locked in. Every single one of us our faces are forward. No one's on their phones. Mm-hmm. No one's distracted. When Captain America picks up the hammer, everyone went fucking crazy. Yeah. When he went on your left and they all come through, Avengers assemble. I mean, it's like when Iron Man dies, mm-hmm. we're all of us, my wife, me, we're all just if you put Avengers Endgame on right now, and when Iron Man dies, I'm gonna cry. Because it is so touching and it is so big the way that they got us.
Yeah, I think it was they definitely did a great job. It was I'll watch that movie anytime. Don't get me wrong. I'm really nitpicking at greatness, but
no. I knew immediately what you were gonna say because I've seen people online be like, so all this happens because a rat crawls across a
and granted, we've never talked about this, so the fact that
hilarious. I was
going to say that
I knew that's what it was going to be because it is the one plot hole that you just have to go.
Just like they got in the writer's room, and in the writer's room they were like, we'll just have the rat, I guess.
Yeah,
and then,
I know, yeah.
And then somebody was like, I can't think of anything better, but we'll go with it.
How do we get Paul Rudd out of there? Maybe like a rat walks over that's fucking stupid, John. We can't do that.
And they kept thinking about
listen,
it. Like, well,
I
John,
don't know.
listen.
John had a point. The only other one no, there's two different ones that are in my top 10. I got Braveheart in there after that. Then I got Ace Ventura 2, When Nature Calls, because that movie, to me, I mean, I pissed my pants twice whenever I was younger watching that movie. Once when he...
Getting pretty hot in these rhinos.
No, but I don't know why it was so funny to me when the guy comes down, you really should fancy yourself in nature. And he punches the guy and he drifts, la 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 la. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. I just fucking died. And then the other part is when he's driving in the...
Bumpy ride.
He goes, hey, whatever, from the consulate, right? This is weird. I couldn't handle it. I just started crying again and started laughing. That movie is hands down, that will make me laugh every single time. And I think it's best Jim Carrey movie by far. And there are some fantastic Jim Carrey movies, but if you watch Ace Ventura 2, he is fucking killing it from beginning to end.
That was
so
his
funny.
baby. He didn't do sequels for the longest time.
Yeah.
And he said, I'll do this sequel, but I have complete control about the script.
Yeah.
Everything that I do.
Yeah.
You're going to have to sit back and just deal with it. And there's going to be
I'm so glad
baby.
they did it. I'm so glad they were like, whatever you say, bro. Whatever you say.
Yeah.
Even the beginning, the slinky going down the stairs. Oh, we were so close. Can I do it again? Just incredible. And then to round out then I got Road to Perdition, Children of Men. Children of Men, we didn't talk about it enough, but some of the shots in Children of Men are still to this day, when you watch them, they're just incredible. This was a long time ago too. This was not when they had technology to kind of fill in the gaps, where they did this in real time. Yeah. They set up a camera on the inside of this car and had it spinning around whenever there was motorcycles driving up, and they had gunshots going off inside, and Julianne Moore getting shot in the throat and stuff, and just incredible long shots. And a cool movie. I won't say maybe the best acted, or it's not like Clive Owen is like one of my favorite actors, but I just thought the story was really cool. I thought the way that they filmed it was really cool. The cinematography is incredible in it, so that's why I have Children of Men so high up in all my lists.
Yeah, that really started like the one shot blow your mind, because there was always the one shots in Asian martial arts movies and things like that, but it wasn't done to this caliber with as much coordinated action.
What was that? 1912, 1917?
1917.
Holy fuck. fucking shit,
Brilliant.
bro. When the plane, when they follow the guy and he goes through like the barn door and the plane crashes and it's all one shot, you're like,
Yeah.
I'm like, what the?
Yeah,
how
yeah,
the fuck are they doing this?
Yeah, yeah.
It's crazy. It's crazy that what they can do in cinematography now. And then to round out my top 10, I just had to throw this in there, is Denzel in Man on Fire, sticking bombs up butts and just being a badass, getting shot and being like, I don't care, I'm gonna keep going.
Yeah.
I
And
love
Dakota
that.
Fanning.
I love Dakota Fanning.
shout out.
You know, just shout out to Dakota Fanning. But could you? I'm putting you on the spot. Do you
Yeah.
think you could throw out a 10? You think you could throw out a couple?
Ooh, I think I could. Can I get a little sheet list here?
Yeah.
Can I get a
Yeah,
little,
whatever
just a
you-
couple reminders?
whatever you
We
need.
can edit this part out.
Whatever you need. Whatever you need. You know, I think too that we watched movies a lot in a formidable part of our growing up whenever we were younger. I think me and you were around when we were in that, 18, 19-year-old. Our brains were kind of deciding who we were as movie viewers and what we thought were good. And I always looked to you for, so that's why Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, it's happening.
Yeah, I don't
It's
think
happening.
I'm gonna. I think you're gonna. It's brilliantly done.
Yeah.
Marvelous Miss. The right. It's from the creator of Gilmore Girls, and I've seen Gilmore Girls, and it is what it is. It's kind of for a different type of population, but it's still a really good dialogue heavy show. The pace is immaculate.
Oh, it's so fast.
It's so fast. But then this is kind of what Marvelous Miss Maisel is too. But all the dialogue is relevant. It's hilarious. What she says is funny. Everyone is perfect for their roles. The shots are one shot, brilliant shots.
Okay.
The color's amazing. The costumes. I love like mid-century era type stuff like Mad Men and those types of movies
Yeah.
where it takes place in the 50s and 60s. I'm infatuated with that for some weird reason. It's just when you think of something, when you watch something and you think of people, I think there's a reason why you think of people, and I don't think I would tell you this unless I don't think you would just love it. And I think it's
I'm on it.
it's just, it makes you feel good. It makes me feel good every time an episode ends. You're just like,
Yeah.
and fuck, what's her name that plays Susie Meyerson in the movie? She plays Lois and Family Guy. Bernstein.
Alex Bernstein.
Oh, she's so good as well. Everyone is just perfect and it all comes together. It's
I didn't
just
even
a
know she
brilliant
was
story.
in it.
Yeah, she is. She plays Miss Maisel's eventual agent.
Okay.
Which, no spoiler. You kind of find that out early. But okay, so let's just talk about some of the things that you don't have listed, and we'll get some of your quick opinions on those. How about that? Shawshank Redemption.
Yeah, people are always very high on Shawshank Redemption, and I like it. I will say it's a little long, and it's a little, how do I put this? Where I think The Green Mile does a very good job of connecting to the emotional heartstrings. For some reason, I just couldn't quite get there. I cried in watching The Green Mile for the first time. I did not cry watching
That's
The
fair.
Shawshank Redemption the
Let's
first
do
time.
another one. You don't have Dark Knight up there.
Ooh, and that might be a mistake.
Dark Knight is top 10 for me.
That's a mistake. You're right. You know what? You're right.
Okay,
Yeah, you're right.
You're a big Lord of the Rings guy. Well, I'm surprised. Now let's go and preface this by saying we used to have these top 10 discussions. We used to all sit around before there was like we had cell phones that just did everything for us.
That means I don't have
we
the
would
Matrix
sit around
in here.
and make top 10 lists of trilogies.
Shit.
Top 10 list of trilogies.
All right, I need a top 30. This isn't enough. 10's not enough.
Have you told your audience about the game we used to play about pulling movies out and we go and push one back in?
That's a great game.
Also
That's a great
good
game.
story. So you don't have there. I do love Interstellar almost more than Inception, but I do love that movie.
I don't like the ending. I don't like the ending.
That's fair.
I don't like that he bangs on the books or whatever. And
No!
that's
Murph!
like that's how they know that he's.
Don't let me go, Murph.
Is that
another
Nolan?
dimension.
Is that Nolan? Yeah. And again, amazing concept. Nolan never misses with the concepts. It's just incredible stuff.
Goodfellas.
No.
Okay.
No.
We didn't watch
No.
that one together back in the day.
I'm not. I gotta be honest. All those Godfather, Goodfellas, Casino. It's cute. It's fine. It's not touching me on a. It's
That's
not.
fair.
It's not connecting with me where I'm like, man, this is so good. It just
That's
doesn't
fair.
get me like that.
Okay. Departed.
Oh wow, good point. Yeah, that's a good
That's
point.
definitely top 10 for me.
I could definitely put The Departed up in a up.
Let me just list off what I have in my top 10. Inception, Forrest Gump, Road to Perdition.
Yeah.
V for Vendetta might be creeping around the corner there. And Interstellar for me, just so that I can think of all.
Is Departed better than Saving Private Ryan?
Oh, I don't know.
I don't know. That's tough. Is it better than Everything Everywhere All? You know, you've got me with The Dark Knight. I could definitely see myself putting The Dark Knight is probably up there in like the 4 or 5 range.
Okay,
because it's that good. We saw Dark Knight together.
We did opening night.
And when you walked out of that movie, it was like, wow. I just saw it's hands down the best made, like where Avengers Endgame is fun because of so many different reasons. As far as superhero movies go, The Dark Knight is the best superhero movie made of all time.
Agreed.
Of all time.
I 100% agree with that.
Now, Heath Ledger has a lot to do with that, but you know.
For sure, Gladiator. I'm surprised because that was on your top list.
It's great
for a while.
It's great. It's hanging down around like the 12, 14 range. But as I've gotten older with Gladiator, you kind of realize that it's a little cheesy, and I don't mean that in a bad way, but it is a little like it's period drama, you know. So it's like they're all speaking in proper English, and they're all, you know, it's very big moments, and I don't know.
It's a ballad. It's a movie ballad.
It is a ballad. You know? It is a ballad. I think I need a little bit of lightheartedness or a little bit of funny to get me through.
That's fair. And totally fair. Let's do another one here. You got him. So when you say things, you could have listed Raiders of the Lost Ark, or I think those are categorized as a trilogy. You can't pick one out,
which is why Lord of the Rings is kind of that for me.
I guess that if you could just single out those movies, Raiders of the Lost Ark and Last Crusade, which we don't really talk about Temple of Doom or the other one. But if you can single out Dark Knight, you can single out one of those other two, if not both. But I think you could probably also combine
Last
those
Crusade
two.
is my favorite.
I see no Tarantino, no Django, no.
Django would be the only
Inglorious.
one.
Inglorious Bastards is probably top 10 for me.
See, and I respect all that. I think Inglorious Bastards and Django are fantastic movies, but I am anti Tarantino on other things. I hated Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
I'm interested to hear your take on that.
It was just a jerking off of Los Angeles. It was 20 minutes of shots of Brad Pitt and Leo driving around old LA and being like with music where it was like, oh, this is cool. Now, do I think Tarantino has a very good eye, and his vision of movies is all you can tell. It's like, this is a Tarantino movie.
Yeah.
You watch The Hateful Eight, you're like, this is a Tarantino movie. But I think the writing in Inglourious Bastards and Django is by far his best. So I think that where I can get annoyed by certain things, that like even in Inglourious Bastards, like there are moments where he just feels himself too much. When the bear Jew comes out of the tunnel and there's this 19 minute song, when the beginning is this huge big moment of song, and you know, now he's gotten also very lucky that he met a man named Christoph Waltz. And so he was like, oh, well, I need somebody who can speak all these languages, is a phenomenal, scary actor, and is like, you know, on all these different levels. And so he found Christoph Waltz. I think Django Unchained, I think you could talk me into that. But I think other than that.
Speaking of Django, Jamie Foxx apparently is paralyzed and blind right now. Have you heard that?
Why?
I don't want to speculate, but there's reports out there that saying that he had a blood clot.
Oh, wow.
And it may or may not be due to the vaccine.
Oh, wow.
So that's been reports.
Holy bejesus. Well, don't they have a Mike Tyson movie coming out? I think he's playing Mike Tyson.
Yeah, that was probably filmed a couple
years ago. Me. Holy shit.
But he's not doing well from what they're saying.
Jamie's a talent.
Oh, yeah.
Man.
Let's see. Anything else that you...
now that you've got me thinking about trilogies, you've got me thinking that there's no Matrix in here.
I was going to say that, but just the first one for me.
Oh no, I love the second one. Now it's not for the action and the ridiculousness of the second one. I really love, but I think the Matrix one that has a place in my heart that it was big when I watched it when I was younger. Same thing with Lord of the Rings. I could probably take the third one and I could make an argument that it should be pretty high up there. Now that I'm looking at my list, if I have to pull things out of it, I think V for Vendetta maybe is a little high.
Okay.
I think
Children of Men is a little high. Maybe
Children of
Road to
Men's a little
Perdition
high.
is a little
That's with me just because I love Children of Men and I love the shots in Children of Men.
Yeah.
But I think you're right. Overall, I think there's other movies that may Braveheart. While Braveheart might be big to me, for others it might not be that. I think Braveheart has I love Mel Gibson, and I think Mel Gibson is a very passionate actor. I remember watching Mel Gibson stuff and being like, I want to be an actor like Mel Gibson because I don't know if anybody can be what Tom Hanks is, but I think you can talk yourself into performing like
Mel Gibson was one of those 90s actors that didn't need to be on like 6 fucking rounds of Anadrol to just convince you that he can whoop your ass.
Yeah.
Him and like Bruce Willis, Harrison Ford were those guys where just like they were just regular looking guys.
Regular
you'd be
dudes.
like, that guy would whoop my ass.
Yeah,
And he didn't
Mel
need to
Gibson
take
was a
17
madman.
rounds of steroids in order to play this role that was just mundane and pointless.
Yeah.
Those guys were amazing. Then he got canceled for making a movie about Jesus, but that's a different story. Let's see. What else? Anything? There Will Be Blood. That is top 10 for me.
Very niche,
And I have
though.
one more there.
Very niche. It wouldn't be in my top 10, but it's very good.
And then I love Jurassic Park. I think it's a near flawless
Especially
movie.
Jurassic Park 1. You're
Yeah,
right.
only Jurassic Park 1.
You're
None of
right.
the
You're right.
others.
You're right. You're right.
Just one.
You're
John
right.
Williams, Spielberg.
You're right.
Great cast. Sam Neill's great.
That definitely deserves to be in like the fun, like the maybe not the. I mean, it honestly did get a lot of praise from critics and everybody else. It was a game changer. So it's also why I can't watch bad old movies because I watched Jurassic Park whenever I was a child in the movie theaters.
It made me feel all sorts of things, especially peeing my pants.
You can't make me watch Jurassic Park and then put on Star Wars: A New Hope and be like, "This is good." Like, no, it's not. You just showed me Jurassic Park. How the fuck can you show me this now?
Although Empire Strikes Back to me is still one of the best movies for its time.
But see, that's the problem is that I can't say the phrase "for its time." I can't take my brain off of it. I can't watch some of the bad shots and the bad cinematography in those movies and just go, it was back in the blah blah blah.
Yeah, but things do evolve to where you're like, all right, these actors aren't as they were at once a point where everything was kind of directed here because they only had one mic that was picking up everything, and they had to speak real loud and in this clear, precise tone. To where now everything is whispered.
Yeah, everything's
and there's
very
more
small
emotion that's connected because you can whisper because the audio allows for that now.
Well, and they do like close-ups and all kinds of stuff that they never did before. I mean, you go back and watch like, To Kill a Mockingbird and things like that. It is all far away shots. They're doing basically theater performances on screen.
Yeah, they are. And they're projecting so loud, and that does to an extent take away from the effect of being up close and like you're whispering in somebody's ear.
It's just tough.
Yeah,
I've seen Avengers Endgame. You can't show me something from the 70s and be like, isn't this great? Like, I'm gonna be like, well, I mean, yeah, I get it. And don't get me wrong, you pop on Raiders of the Lost Ark, I'm gonna sit down, I'm gonna have a great time. But you put on Back to the Future 1, I'm not gonna be mad at you. But it
is corny. There's a disconnect about how humans evolve, so we obviously talk differently now than what we used to. We communicate in different ways.
Yeah, that's
not really as relatable. The special effects are obviously way different and way better.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think in a moment when you see it as a kid, you're like, I don't care about any of that stuff.
Yeah.
But as an adult, you're watching stuff that your dad shows, and you're like, Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
Yeah, I know.
I get it that this was once revolutionary.
E.T. You watch E.T. now, and you're like, what are we doing?
Yeah, like
what are we doing here? What are we doing?
Like, dude, if we found E.T. in high school, we would have stabbed him with pencils.
Oh yeah,
that would have been a 12-minute movie.
I don't know. I think I would have tried to be its friend for a little bit.
No, you would have had sex with it.
Yeah, that's true.
That's
true.
for sure. That's 100%.
Young Josh would have fucked that thing.
It doesn't matter. It was unisex. It didn't belong to anything.
Yeah,
so you would have been like, does it have an orifice?
Yeah.
God, that's a That's then you have EDT, then which is another. Couldn't get a boner with an alien. I don't know if there's anything else that's like worth mentioning.
No, I think
is not
you hit them. I think The Departed, The Dark Knight, obviously The Lord of the Rings and The Matrix. Jurassic Park's a really good one. But man, I need a bigger list. We need more time. We need more of these. Love you. I'm so glad we got to do this.
Yeah, man, this is a blast.
Yeah.
We'll do comedies next, and then we'll
there you go.
And then we'll just do Harrison Ford movies. All top 10 list for him.
I love it. But I'm gonna cut this up so that it's not as long. We're gonna do some shorts. We're gonna fuck on a bitch and come back. See you soon. Thanks all. Fuck off. Fuck the algorithm.